Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy KCM What Ifs. Today we are gonna be reading the Sharingan Devil, or what if Naruto had the Sharingan and was a captain of the ANBU. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Reduce the whole creation to ashes, Ryujin Jaka. Both the legendary swordsman's eyes widened when he saw the power that was being released from Naruto's sword. The entire ocean was now on fire, and as a result a lot of steam was arising that was slowly reducing everyone's sight. "I'll end this once and for all," said Naruto murderously, and raised his sword high in the air. Jikaku Enjo, Fortress Blaze. Zabuza and Raiga quickly jumped away, as all around them flames started rising, and in a few seconds they were now surrounded by flames from all sides. The flames even extended up to 50 feet in the air and even beneath the water itself. "What is this?" asked Raiga painfully. He didn't have much time left. "I don't feel like telling you that, let's end this in 3 strikes, said Naruto coldly. "Raiga, we cannot stay in this barrier, I'll cover you. Try to escape from this barrier after my attack, and strike him from behind." "We only have one chance," whispered Zabuza slowly, and Raiga gave a firm nod. Right now they were at a disadvantage, so the plan which Zabuza suggested was the only choice they had. "Naruto," they advised Kurama, but when he saw a small smirk on Naruto's face, the Biju knew Naruto was up to something. "Now!" "Trident waves of destruction," yelled Zabuza murderously, and an enormous 30-feet giant wave of water was now heading towards Naruto at tremendous speed. "You fool, counter it right now," said Kurama quickly, but Naruto didn't move at all. The Biju was quite surprised when at the last moment, the waves, instead of hitting Naruto, changed their direction and hit the fire wall behind Naruto, creating a large amount of steam. "Now's my chance," thought Raiga quickly, and was already on his way to escape from his barrier. The veteran swordsman jumped in the mist where those waves had hit. This was one of the most powerful water attacks of Zabuza. Even Raiga knew those flames were no match for it. "Burn," said Naruto stoically, and what happened next shocked Zabuza and Raiga to the core. The entire mist disappeared as the fire wall behind Naruto burned more brightly, and to Zabuza's horror there in the center of those flames was Raiga himself. The demon of the mist was shocked like hell, as he watched Raiga's entire body being turned to ashes, which disappeared in the water instantly. "Strike 1 complete," said Naruto victoriously, and was now looking at Zabuza as if he was his prey. "Impossible, those flames shouldn't be standing after my powerful water attack," said Zabuza in disbelief. This monster had just taken out one of the most powerful men in history with his sword. Raiga Kurosaki was now dead, and he was killed in such a way that nothing of him was left. Even his legendary blades Kiba were destroyed in those flames. Just what the hell was this boy? You don't get it, do you? This is the most powerful sword of this world. You thought you could sneak up behind me and finish me off. A sound strategy, but just not enough to defeat this sword, explained Naruto briefly. "Where the hell did you find this sword?" asked Zabuza angrily. Why did the boy have such a powerful weapon? His chances of winning were even less after Raiga's death, and this pissed him off. "It was a sword which I took from my best friend. You can even call him my big brother. It was a shame that I had to kill him," said Naruto arrogantly, and the little fear on Zabuza's face was a proof that he was successful in scaring his opponent a little. "I need to hit him with everything I've got," thought Zabuza firmly, and gathered all the chakra he had left for a final attack. Naruto sensed a massive amount of chakra being used, and he quickly brought his sword forward in order to defend himself. Kasukada no Kami, God of Waterfall. Naruto was quite shocked when he saw large waves rising from every direction in the sea, and were rushing towards him quickly. This was no ordinary attack. His enemy was about to unleash his most powerful technique. "He wants to take me out with him," thought a surprised Naruto, and he also increased the power of his sword. "Strike 2, Taimatsu," said Naruto quickly. A large dragon of fire was now formed around Naruto's sword, and in a flash Naruto jumped high in the air, and swung his sword wildly in every direction. The giant fire dragon unleashed a sea of flames that collided with the waves of water with great force. The heat generated from the colliding attacks was so powerful that many parts of Naruto's skin were burnt badly. I still cannot control the power of this sword to its full extent. How could Ni-san use its second stage? I can't even properly use its first stage for more than a few minutes, thought Naruto tiredly. His body was at its limit and he didn't have much strength left. Fighting against one swordsman of the mist was lethal, but fighting against two of them was suicide. If not for this sword, Naruto knew his chances of winning were quite low. Shit! Thought Naruto painfully, as he felt a violent punch being hit straight on his chest. The attack was so powerful that Naruto was sent sailing a few meters away, until he crashed in the water. In the next moment, he started coughing violently, and blood started to leak out of his mouth like a river. Nono told you that there is no way you can fight such a dangerous battle, you must retreat. Zabuza is not going down so easily, advised Kurama, as he saw his container's condition deteriorating with each passing second. Naruto's vision was a little hazy. That attack was so powerful that he was not properly able to stand on his feet. In his entire life he had not fought against such a tough opponent. I must win, no matter what, thought Naruto with determination, and slowly stepped up on the water again. When he looked at his opponent, his eyes widened in shock and a little fear. Zabuza's body was badly burnt and now he was almost naked, and Naruto could see the powerful muscles of that man. No wonder he was called a demon. The bandages on Zabuza's face were now gone, and now the scary face of Zabuza Momochi was right in front of Naruto. You are a powerful boy, but I'm gonna kill you, declared Zabuza murderously, and leaked a powerful ki. Naruto's mind was processing the entire battle scenario at lightning speed, trying to come up with a solution to help him survive this battle, and if possible win. I must avoid fighting him in taijutsu. If only I had a little more speed I could take him on. I have to use my ninjutsu and genjutsu. I cannot use Ryujin Jaka anymore or I may not be able to fully control it and this may lead to destruction of Wave Country itself, thought Naruto tactfully. It was true that he had seen Shin use Ryujin Jaka to its full extent, but that was no ordinary sword, and it required years of practice to fully master its power. A training which Naruto had not undertaken, he just knew a little how to use that sword. It seems we have to increase your training with this sword, and most importantly your taijutsu, said Kurama strictly, and Naruto just gave a tired sigh. Naruto saw his opponent performing a quick set of hand seals, and he instantly mirrored them with utmost perfection. Suetun, Hanryu, Water Release, Rapid Crasher. Suetun, Hanryu, Water Release, Rapid Crasher. Two giant water waves collided with each other with full force, and hundreds of water droplets rained down in the surrounding area. The fire barrier of Ryujin Jaka was still standing, albeit a bit less powerful than before. Zabuza sunshine right in front of Naruto and tried to hit him straight in the face, but to his surprise Naruto disappeared in a flock of crows. Genjutsu, thought Zabuza quickly, but he was a little late. Naruto appeared behind Zabuza, and gave a roundhouse kick to the man's back that sent him crashing in the water. He then jumped high in the air and performed a set of hand seals. Magen, Jubaku Satsu, Demonic Illusion, Tree Binding Death. Several branches of trees entangled all around Zabuza's body, and started squeezing his entire body with all their strength. Zabuza was low on chakra, and so the only way to get out was to get in control of one of his senses. In what appeared to be the last moment, Zabuza bit his tongue just as Naruto appeared right in front of him with a sparkling thing in his hand. Chidori. Zabuza saw the attack heading straight for his chest, and at the last second he shifted himself to the right side to prevent the attack from piercing his heart, but he was a little late as the lightning attack cut clean through his left shoulder. Fuck! Yelled Zabuza in pain, as his entire left hand was now useless in this battle. Blood splattered all across Naruto's face, but he was quite surprised when Zabuza headbutted him, which resulted in him losing his balance, and this gave Zabuza the chance which he wanted. Naruto's eyes widened in shock and pain, as he felt something cold pierce straight through his stomach, and he coughed up a lot of blood. Kurama's eyes widened on the sight before him. There standing right behind Naruto was another Zabuza who had pierced the Kubikiribocho straight through Naruto's stomach. He looked at the Zabuza in front of him and saw the man giving him a victorious look. Just a second, and it was all over. Mizu Bunshin attack success. Whispered Zabuza with a smirk. "How?" asked Naruto painfully, and coughed up a lot of blood. "I didn't use any hand seals, you could never see my attack." "You were a good opponent, but it ends here," said Zabuza murderously. Naruto's vision started getting dark, he was in intense pain and the large hole in his stomach was proof enough that he had lost. Never in his entire life had he fought against such an opponent, and he was defeated. All his dreams, his hopes were now shattered. Another painful sensation hit him as the Zabuza in front of him stabbed a kunai straight through his heart, and this time the pain was more intense than before. Die! Zabuza's water clone sliced the sword across Naruto's stomach, and cut it apart entirely from the right side. But Zabuza was quite surprised when Naruto didn't fall down on his knees, instead he was standing on his last legs trying to fight till his last breath. "Why do you still fight?" asked Zabuza curiously, and grabbed Naruto by the collar and lifted him up in the air with his right hand. And when the man looked in Naruto's eyes he saw something which he had not seen in a long time, those eyes. The same broken eyes, the eyes that showed nothing but pain, misery, and most of all loneliness. "I made a promise," said Naruto weakly, and a few tears had came in his eyes. "Naruto," said Kurama worriedly, but his friend couldn't hear him and Kurama saw a sea of darkness approaching his cage. "He is finished," said Dark sadly. Maybe this was best for both of them? He had enough of this cruel world, and if this was the end then he was ready. "Do something, you stupid idiot," yelled Kurama angrily, and this time Dark Naruto looked away from the beast. "Can't you see it? He can't take it anymore. I am ultimately a part of him." "What do you think we are?" said Dark Naruto angrily. "Shut up," said Kurama furiously. He couldn't use his chakra to heal Naruto as it would kill him instantly. "Can't you see it? There is nothing left except loneliness. We are all alone in this cruel world. Where are our so-called friends? Where is Kurenai? In the end, we got what we feared the most, loneliness. Can't you see the hole in my heart?" yelled Dark Naruto angrily. Kurama watched sadly as the same hole was now in Dark Naruto's heart. This world was indeed cruel. "I was a fool for believing in you, old man. There is no such thing as peace. How can I change the future if I can't even save my only friend?" thought Kurama sadly. Naruto coughed up a lot of blood, and Zabuza's face was a little more hazy to him. He couldn't feel anything below his stomach, and a part of his mind knew this was it. "What drives you this far?" asked Zabuza again, and this time he saw the boy's right hand rising slowly. "Because I love her," said Naruto with a small smile, and this time Zabuza's eyes widened in surprise as well as shock. "Chidori Iso." A large flash of lightning pierced straight through Zabuza's heart, and he looked down and saw the attack had come from Naruto's right hand. "In the end, he defeated me. Forgive me, Haku," thought Zabuza finally, and his grip on Naruto's shoulder slipped away. Zabuza's body started drowning in the water, and the water clone dispersed instantly. Not yet," said Naruto slowly, and took out a small scroll from his pocket. He slowly opened the scroll. He had to do this, he couldn't die without doing this. Naruto soaked his hands with his own blood. He could barely see and he had almost no chakra left to properly heal his body. He wrote his message on the scroll, and collapsed on his knees. "Naruto, hang in there," said Kurama in panic, but no one could hear his voice. The Biju watched in shock as Naruto performed a very familiar set of hand seals, and slammed his hand on the water surface. Kuchios no Jutsu. A small crow appeared in front of Naruto, and with all his strength he put the scroll on the bird's back, and whispered something in the crow's ears. Just as the crow was about to leave, Naruto's legs couldn't maintain chakra anymore and he fell into the ocean. A small sad smile came on his face as he remembered a certain event of his life. Flashback, a few years ago. A young Naruto was standing in front of a small grave, tears were freely slipping from his eyes as he read the name written on it. Shin. It had been a few months, but still he knew this pain would never go, this guilt would forever haunt his soul. The sin of killing a friend who was more precious to him like his own brother. "You're still here, moron," said a calm voice. Naruto didn't look up, and was just staring at the grave without any emotion on his face. Shin's body was burnt to ashes the moment he died. This was just a small grave which he and Sai had created for their deceased brother. "I know pain, the feeling of being all alone. I have seen happiness, the feeling when your friends come to help you, and the despair of watching those same friends dying right in front of you. Why am I still alive? The villagers think of me as a demon. What is my purpose in life?" asked Naruto sadly. Sai stepped up beside Naruto and laid a few flowers in front of the grave, and offered his prayers. "Regardless of what the villagers think of you, I and Shin always believe that you are a good person and a fine shinobi. He died to save you, and no matter what you say, this was his choice. Stop blaming yourself for that. He left his hopes, his dreams to you. Shin is seeing the future through your eyes, and make sure that he sees his dream fulfilled," said Sai firmly. Sai. Naruto's eyes closed as a small sad smile came on his face. The last thing he saw was drowning in the water. "Well, looks like this is the end. Take care of Sai, and protect the village. I'm with you till the end. I will love you forever." All these memories flashed in front of his eyes, and he knew this was it. "Shin-san, this is where the future you wanted to see comes to end. I couldn't protect Sai, nor did the village. All I've done is break my promises, please forgive me." He closed his eyes, ready to die, but instead of meeting the Shinigami, he found himself standing in a white plain. "Where am I?" thought Naruto curiously. "We need to talk," said a new voice. And this time Naruto turned back and what he saw widened his eyes in shock. Confused was the only word which could describe Naruto's state of mind. He was currently all alone in what seemed to be an endless space. There was nothing anywhere, just everywhere there was white color. "Where am I?" thought Naruto curiously. He certainly didn't expect to be in such a place. He was certain that he was dead. Zabuza's attack had ripped him apart. Naruto knew there was nothing he could do now, but more than that he was relieved. His suffering was over, everything was finished. Hell or heaven, he didn't care where the Shinigami would send him. Anywhere but the world of living was where he wanted to go. He had failed, plain and simple. He was a person who could never fulfill any promises he made, and frankly he had suffered enough for his actions. Maybe, now he could finally rest in peace. But right now looking at this empty space, made him a little concerned. "We need to talk," said a very familiar voice, that sent shivers down his spine. This voice, he knew this voice, how could he forget? But there was no way, he was hallucinating. This was simply impossible. He slowly turned around, and his worst fears came true. "Brother," said Naruto in shock, as right now the person standing behind him was none other than Shin himself. That face, that uniform, those eyes, the same kind smile, this was definitely Shin. But he was supposed to be dead. "I know you have a lot of questions and I have some questions for you too, but still, it's good to see you again," said Shin kindly with a smile, and hugged Naruto slowly. Naruto didn't know what was going on, but he was happy, and gently hugged Shin back. A lone tear slipped from his eye. It had been so many years. All this time, not a single second passed where he never thought of Shin. The guilt was still in his heart, and seeing Shin again was one of the happiest things that ever happened to him. "I missed you, man," said a tearful Naruto, and a small chuckle escaped from Shin's mouth, even though he was feeling happy on seeing Naruto again. "You seem to have grown up a lot since the last time I saw you," said Shin happily, but he knew there was not much time. What is this? Is it heaven or hell? It's definitely not hell. Since you wouldn't be in such a place, hell is for people like Dash, said Naruto, but was cut off when Shin bonked him hard on his head. That hurts. Whined Naruto playfully, this is what you have to change, and as for your question, this is neither heaven nor hell. In simple words, you are inside Ryujin Jaka's inner world, explained Shin simply, and the confused look on Naruto's face made him leave with a tired sigh. Ryujin Jaka is a sword, and you died years ago. I don't understand, said Naruto with a deep frown. There are many things you don't know about this sword. Right now you are on the verge of death, but I can save you, said Shin flatly. No. What? Asked a shocked Shin. What was going on here? This is my choice, I've made my peace with death. This is the end of the line for me, said Naruto truthfully, and his eyes showed Shin that he meant what he said. Moron, I can save your life, you can have another chance, and go back Dash, said Shin, but was cut off, when Naruto looked at him angrily. Go back to what? A life of pain and suffering, existing in this world that knows only despair has no value, brother, said Naruto distastefully. Shin's eyes widened in shock on hearing that. Did the world truly make his little brother into the man he was seeing right now? He had seen everything that happened to Naruto, and none of that was his fault at all. You are not the Naruto I knew, said Shin disappointingly. Call me whatever you want, since I'm dead, none of this matters. Demon, traitor, bastard, call me anything you like, said Naruto harshly. Just who are you, Naruto? Asked a terrified Shin. The damage his brother had suffered was far worse than he had imagined. Even I don't know who I am. Brother, said Naruto truthfully, and averted his eyes from Shin. He couldn't see the betrayal that was visible in Shin's eyes. Slap. The sound of a very harsh slap was heard in that empty space. Naruto's eyes widened in shock as Shin had right now slapped him very hard. Doorbells were ringing in his ears right now, but he had no time to react as Shin punched him hard and sent him crashing on the ground. Listen to yourself, you are trying to be someone else and are living a life of lies, said Shin angrily, and put his foot right on Naruto's chest. What of it? What does it matter to you? Asked Naruto irritatingly, and he got another kick in his face. You, said a pissed-off Shin, and pressed his feet firmly at Naruto's chest again. Both you and I fought, bled and died for the Leaf Village, but all we got in return was disgrace and dishonor. Let me at least die in peace, brother, pleaded Naruto slowly. No matter what corruption or darkness lies in the village, you and I are both soldiers of Konoha, said Shin fiercely. I failed, brother, I couldn't protect Sai. Nor could I protect the village, or bring the peace you wanted, said Naruto shamefully, and a few tears slipped from his eyes. Shin removed his leg from Naruto's chest, and now sat beside him. He took a deep breath in order to calm himself down. It's my fault that you turned out like this. If I hadn't put my dreams on you, this wouldn't have happened. I was dying, Naruto, and you were the only one whom I trusted to protect the village and bring peace and harmony in it, said Shin sadly. What do you mean? Asked a shocked Naruto. I should have known true peace is not possible in our world. The only thing I wanted was for you and Sai to live, said Shin calmly, and looked at Naruto's shocked face. But it is my fault, Sai is dead because of me, said Naruto vehemently. This is your problem, and I knew it from the beginning. You always try to do everything on your own, never trusting anyone and bearing every burden on your shoulders. That is your curse. So, before I died, I sealed a part of my chakra in Ryujin Jaka in order to save your life if you ever came close to death, explained Shin briefly. Then you are, just, said Naruto sadly, as he knew Shin was going to disappear again once his chakra vanished. This was one of the few ninjutsu that only someone highly skilled could perform. Hi, said Shin honestly, he had to make things right, no matter what. I saw everything that happened, and I am proud as well as sad at the same time, said Shin truthfully, and Naruto looked at him curiously, expecting a further explanation. You never separated Ryujin Jaka from yourself, and used it for every mission you went on. It is a sword that connects to a person's soul. If you truly want to master the power of this sword, then you must acknowledge yourself first, and free yourself from your burdens, said Shin flatly. The things I did, what I became, I broke everyone's hearts, said Naruto truthfully. Make up for it. Are you going to give up? You made mistakes, fix them. You broke everyone's hearts, apologize. Don't be a coward, said Shin fiercely. Shin, if you die like this, nothing is going to change. Orochimaru will destroy Konoha. Kurenai, Kakashi, Enko, Konohamaru, everyone you love will die horribly. You don't have to lie to her. Have you ever cared about her feelings? Asked Shin flatly. But I cannot involve my friends or my family in this, said Naruto adamantly. I admit you are strong enough to do this mission, but you have lost sight of what is the most important thing in the world, said Shin patiently. And what is that? Asked Naruto curiously. All the people that care about you were once wary of you, but you kept on trying and ultimately made your way into their hearts. You told me that it was Kakashi, Kurenai, Enko, Konohamaru, Imiko, Hiruzen, your friends. They all helped you. But if you only care about your pain, and forget about them, then you are worse than scum, said Shin honestly. What have I done? Asked a terrified Naruto. Now he understood what Kurama had been trying to say. It was Kurenai who made you strong, loved you and stood by your side. Will you repay her like this? Asked Shin simply, and Naruto was now truly ashamed of his actions. I screwed up, big time, said Naruto slowly. The damage he had done was much worse than he had thought. Don't try to shoulder everything alone, or you'll lose sight of yourself. Talk to her. If you truly love her, then you must understand the pain you caused her, and apologize. And dying by her hands is not the solution, said Shin patiently. Naruto remembered all the times he had spent with her, and what she had done for him. He had truly caused everyone a lot of pain. You are not alone, you have friends and loved ones. You have to make up for your mistakes. Running away from them is not the solution, said Shin fiercely, and Naruto chuckled a little. Even after dying you are still trying to protect me, said Naruto sadly, and clenched his fists tightly. That's my job, after all, moron, said Shin happily and ruffled Naruto's hair. I forgot everyone and made mistakes, but not anymore. From now on I will do what is right, said Naruto honestly, and Shin smiled on hearing that. Naruto was surprised when Shin hugged him tightly, and he felt a few tears slipping from his eyes. You are the only one who can make this right, said Shin sadly, as he felt his hand disappearing from Naruto's back. Do you really think I can do this? Asked Naruto doubtfully, and he saw Shin's body had started to disappear, and a few tears came in his eyes. I believe in you, Naruto. Shin broke the hug and put a hand on Naruto's chest and stomach, and he looked at Naruto one last time. It's time for me to go. I'll save your life, but this is the last time, said Shin honestly, and swiped his hand at Naruto's chest and stomach. His body started drifting further away from Naruto, and a small smile came on his face. Wait, screamed Naruto and ran after Shin. You can make things right. I'm counting on you, Naruto, said Shin with a smile, and disappeared from space. Tears slipped from Naruto's eyes. Shin was gone, but he had left something priceless. He had returned Naruto's soul, made him realize who he was, and stopped him from making any more mistakes. Thank you, Shin-san. The empty space around him disappeared, and he found himself standing on top of the ocean of wave country. He was quite shocked when he saw all of his wounds were healed. Naruto, you are not dead, said a shocked Kurama. He had really thought it was all over. Naruto gripped his sword tightly and Kurama was quite astonished, and a dark yellow cloak appeared all around Naruto's body. This is, said a shocked Kurama. A small smile came on Naruto's face, and the look in his eyes changed. He felt free, there was no burden on his heart. It's time for my redemption. Confused was the only word which could describe Naruto's state of mind. He was currently all alone in what seemed to be an endless space. There was nothing anywhere, just everywhere there was white color. Where am I? Thought Naruto curiously. He certainly didn't expect to be in such a place. He was certain that he was dead. Zabuza's attack had ripped him apart. Naruto knew there was nothing he could do now, but more than that he was relieved. His suffering was over, everything was finished. Hell or heaven, he didn't care where the Shinigami would send him, anywhere but the world of living was where he wanted to go. He had failed, plain and simple, he was a person who could never fulfill any promises he made, and frankly he had suffered enough for his actions. Maybe, now he could finally rest in peace. But right now looking at this empty space, made him a little concerned. "We need to talk," said a very familiar voice, that sent shivers down his spine. This voice, he knew this voice, how could he forget? But there was no way, he was hallucinating, this was simply impossible. He slowly turned around, and his worst fears came true. "Brother," said Naruto in shock, as right now the person standing behind him was none other than Shin himself. That face, that uniform, those eyes, the same kind smile, this was definitely Shin. But he was supposed to be dead. "I know you have a lot of questions and I have some questions for you too, but still, it's good to see you again," said Shin kindly with a smile, and hugged Naruto slowly. Naruto didn't know what was going on, but he was happy, and gently hugged Shin back. A lone tear slipped from his eye, it had been so many years. All this time, not a single second passed where he never thought of Shin, the guilt was still in his heart, and seeing Shin again was one of the happiest things that ever happened to him. "I missed you, man," said a tearful Naruto, and a small chuckle escaped from Shin's mouth, even though he was feeling happy on seeing Naruto again. "You seem to have grown up a lot since the last time I saw you," said Shin happily, but he knew there was not much time. "What is this? Is it heaven or hell?" "It's definitely not hell, since you wouldn't be in such a place. Hell is for people like Dash," said Naruto, but was cut off when Shin bonked him hard on his head. "That hurts," whined Naruto playfully. "This is what you have to change, and as for your question, this is neither heaven nor hell. In simple words, you are inside Ryujin Jaka's inner world," explained Shin simply, and the confused look on Naruto's face made him leave with a tired sigh. "Ryujin Jaka is a sword, and you died years ago." "I don't understand," said Naruto with a deep frown. "There are many things you don't know about this sword. Right now you are on the verge of death, but I can save you," said Shin flatly. "No." "What?" asked a shocked Shin, what was going on here? "This is my choice, I've made my peace with death. This is the end of the line for me," said Naruto truthfully, and his eyes showed Shin that he meant what he said. "Moron, I can save your life. You can have another chance, and go back." Dash, said Shin, but was cut off, when Naruto looked at him angrily. "Go back to what? A life of pain and suffering, existing in this world that knows only despair has no value." "Brother," said Naruto distastefully. Shin's eyes widened in shock on hearing that. Did the world truly make his little brother into the man he was seeing right now? He had seen everything that happened to Naruto, and none of that was his fault at all. "You are not the Naruto I knew," said Shin disappointingly. "Call me whatever you want, since I'm dead, none of this matters. Demon, traitor, bastard, call me anything you like," said Naruto harshly. "Just who are you, Naruto?" asked a terrified Shin. The damage his brother had suffered was far worse than he had imagined. "Even I don't know who I am, brother," said Naruto truthfully, and averted his eyes from Shin. He couldn't see the betrayal that was visible in Shin's eyes. Slap. The sound of a very harsh slap was heard in that empty space. Naruto's eyes widened in shock as Shin had right now slapped him very hard. Doorbells were ringing in his ears right now, but he had no time to react as Shin punched him hard and sent him crashing on the ground. "Listen to yourself, you are trying to be someone else and are living a life of lies," said Shin angrily, and put his foot right on Naruto's chest. "What of it? What does it matter to you?" asked Naruto irritatingly, and he got another kick in his face. "You," said a pissed-off Shin, and pressed his feet firmly at Naruto's chest again. "Both you and I fought, bled and died for the Leaf Village, but all we got in return was disgrace and dishonor. Let me at least die in peace." "Brother," pleaded Naruto slowly, no matter what corruption or darkness lies in the village, you and I are both soldiers of Konoha, said Shin fiercely. I failed, brother. I couldn't protect Sai, nor could I protect the village, or bring the peace you wanted, said Naruto shamefully, and a few tears slipped from his eyes. Shin removed his leg from Naruto's chest, and now sat beside him. He took a deep breath in order to calm himself down. It's my fault that you turned out like this. If I hadn't put my dreams on you, this wouldn't have happened. I was dying, Naruto, and you were the only one whom I trusted to protect the village and bring peace and harmony in it, said Shin sadly. What do you mean? Asked a shocked Naruto. I should have known true peace is not possible in our world. The only thing I wanted was for you and Sai to live, said Shin calmly, and looked at Naruto's shocked face. But it is my fault. Sai is dead because of me, said Naruto vehemently. This is your problem, and I knew it from the beginning. You always try to do everything on your own, never trusting anyone and bearing every burden on your shoulders. That is your curse. So, before I died, I sealed a part of my chakra in Ryujin Jaka in order to save your life if you ever came close to death, explained Shin briefly. Then you are, just, said Naruto sadly, as he knew Shin was going to disappear again once his chakra vanished. This was one of the few ninjutsu that only someone highly skilled could perform. Hi, said Shin honestly, he had to make things right, no matter what. I saw everything that happened, and I am proud as well as sad at the same time, said Shin truthfully, and Naruto looked at him curiously, expecting a further explanation. You never separated Ryujin Jaka from yourself, and used it for every mission you went on. It is a sword that connects to a person's soul. If you truly want to master the power of this sword, then you must acknowledge yourself first, and free yourself from your burdens, said Shin flatly. The things I did, what I became, I broke everyone's hearts, said Naruto truthfully. Make up for it. Are you going to give up? You made mistakes, fix them. You broke everyone's hearts, apologize. Don't be a coward, said Shin fiercely. Shin, if you die like this, nothing is going to change. Orochimaru will destroy Konoha. Kurenai, Kakashi, Anko, Konohamaru, everyone you love will die horribly. You don't have to lie to her. Have you ever cared about her feelings? Asked Shin flatly. But I cannot involve my friends or my family in this, said Naruto adamantly. I admit you are strong enough to do this mission, but you have lost sight of what is the most important thing in the world, said Shin patiently. And what is that? Asked Naruto curiously. All the people that care about you were once wary of you, but you kept on trying and ultimately made your way into their hearts. You told me that it was Kakashi, Kurenai, Anko, Konohamaru, Imiko, Hiruzen, your friends, they all helped you. But if you only care about your pain, and forget about them, then you are worse than scum, said Shin honestly. What have I done? Asked a terrified Naruto. Now he understood what Kurama had been trying to say. It was Kurenai who made you strong, loved you and stood by your side. Will you repay her like this? Asked Shin simply. And Naruto was now truly ashamed of his actions. I screwed up, big time, said Naruto slowly. The damage he had done was much worse than he had thought. Don't try to shoulder everything alone, or you'll lose sight of yourself. Talk to her. If you truly love her, then you must understand the pain you caused her, and apologize. And dying by her hands is not the solution, said Shin patiently. Naruto remembered all the times he had spent with her, and what she had done for him. He had truly caused everyone a lot of pain. You are not alone, you have friends and loved ones. You have to make up for your mistakes. Running away from them is not the solution, said Shin fiercely, and Naruto chuckled a little. Even after dying you are still trying to protect me, said Naruto sadly, and clenched his fists tightly. That's my job, after all, moron, said Shin happily and ruffled Naruto's hair. I forgot everyone and made mistakes, but not anymore. From now on I will do what is right, said Naruto honestly, and Shin smiled on hearing that. Naruto was surprised when Shin hugged him tightly, and he felt a few tears slipping from his eyes. You are the only one who can make this right, said Shin sadly, as he felt his hand disappearing from Naruto's back. Do you really think I can do this? Asked Naruto doubtfully, and he saw Shin's body had started to disappear, and a few tears came in his eyes. "I believe in you, Naruto." Shin broke the hug and put a hand on Naruto's chest and stomach, and he looked at Naruto one last time. "It's time for me to go, I'll save your life, but this is the last time," said Shin honestly, and swiped his hand at Naruto's chest and stomach. His body started drifting further away from Naruto, and a small smile came on his face. "Wait," screamed Naruto and ran after Shin, "you can make things right." "I'm counting on you, Naruto," said Shin with a smile, and disappeared from space. Tears slipped from Naruto's eyes. Shin was gone, but he had left something priceless. He had returned Naruto's soul, made him realize who he was, and stopped him from making any more mistakes. "Thank you, Shin-san." The empty space around him disappeared, and he found himself standing on top of the ocean of wave country. He was quite shocked when he saw all of his wounds were healed. "Naruto, you are not dead," said a shocked Kurama. He had really thought it was all over. Naruto gripped his sword tightly and Kurama was quite astonished, and a dark yellow cloak appeared all around Naruto's body. "This is," said a shocked Kurama. A small smile came on Naruto's face, and the look in his eyes changed. He felt free, there was no burden on his heart. "It's time for my redemption." Since Naruto defected from Konoha, he has lost faith in everything. Naruto was the only person who understood him, and now he is gone too, just like his older brother Itachi. "All of you should know what that means," said Sakura seriously. "He's more unstable than before," said Shino flatly, and Sakura gave a tired sigh. "You could say that, but still it would be good if you guys remained cautious out there. If not for Anko, Kurenai and Naruto's training, me and Sasuke wouldn't have made it past the first mission. It's dark out there, so we'll have to watch each other's backs, and don't hesitate. Ino, Hinata, I know you guys are good kunoichi, and want to protect your comrades, so kill whoever tries to harm your team," said Sakura as gently as possible. Ino couldn't believe what she just heard. Was this the same Sakura that used to get bullied during her childhood, or the one who was her #1 competitor for Sasuke's affection? "She's so different, now that I think about it. Every member of Team 7 has changed a lot after he left," thought Ino sadly. "I just want to protect everyone," said a tearful Hinata. "Sakura, do you believe in our abilities?" asked Shikamaru straightforwardly, but one look in the young girl's eyes gave him the answer. "I don't know whether to trust in my own abilities or the choices of the comrades I trust. No one knows how it will turn out," said Sakura coldly, and walked away from the group. Watching Sakura leave made the other rookies question their own beliefs. Were they really true shinobi? Naruto watched the vast ocean surrounded by waves. It was so peaceful out here, no politics, no missions. The calm breeze that was flowing all around him made him feel better. Nono was right, I'm going to retire from ANBU after this mission. "I'll try to start a new life," said Naruto hopefully. "Naruto, can I ask you something?" asked Kurama hesitantly. This had to be done. "What's Kurama?" "Ask freely," said Naruto freely, as another cool breeze brought a smile to his face. "What do you feel about this world? Do you think that the current system of shinobi is right?" asked Kurama seriously, and this time Naruto thought about the question a little suspiciously. What was his friend up to? "I won't lie, this world is dark, corrupt, people betray each other for power, money and many other things, and there is a lot of hatred in this world," said Naruto truthfully. "I see," said Kurama disappointingly, "but there are more good things in this world. Where there is darkness there is light, where there is hatred there is love. When people betray you there are also those who help you. My life is a prime example of both the light and dark sides of this world," said Naruto with a small smile. "Would you believe in the same thing if you lost someone close to you again, like Shin and Sai?" "I don't know what goes on in your mind, even if I'm sealed in you. I don't know what path you will take," said Kurama honestly. "He's hiding something," thought Naruto sharply, but decided to keep quiet for now. "It will be painful, but I'm not going to give up. Everyone believes in me, and if I lose someone very close to me and if I'm unable to live without them, then I'll find a way to bring them back, that's a promise. There is enough pain and sadness in this world, I don't want to cause any more suffering, said Naruto seriously, and Kurama's eyes widened on hearing that. Naruto, you, said Kurama proudly, and his partner just gave him a nod. Silence followed for a few more minutes as Naruto just observed the calm blue ocean in front of him, while Kurama contemplated the answer he received from his container until. What are you hiding? Asked Naruto dangerously, and the Biju suddenly felt cornered. There is nothing to hide, I just wanted to know how you feel, said Kurama evasively, but the answer was not satisfactory for his friend as his glare just intensified. Don't lie to me, not you. We've been through hell together, there should be no secrets between us, said Naruto seriously, and Kurama felt a little ashamed on hearing that. Could he let such secrets continue any longer, even after knowing Naruto's thoughts about the world? He even said he would bring his precious people back, and if it was someone like Ray then he doubted anything could stop Naruto. Hell, he might just become another Rikudo Sennin if it meant bringing his daughter back. The question was, what choice was Kurama supposed to make now? Believe in Itachi, and prevent another Madara from being born, or believe in Naruto to choose the right path? I can't lie anymore, I'm not like Danzo, neither am I Kami, and I don't have any right to choose how he lives his life. I'll let him decide his own path. Thought Kurama firmly, and prepared himself to reveal the dark truth that he had been hiding from Naruto. He knew by doing this, there was a chance that his friendship with Naruto would be destroyed and he was putting the world at risk, but he would rather let this cruel world burn rather than betray the person who understood him the most after the Rikudo Sennin. Naruto, I need to tell you something dash. Naruto nii-chan. A little blonde girl came running and knocked Naruto flat on the ground, and a small smile came on Naruto's face as he saw the vibrant smile on Rya's face. It's good to see you, Rya-chan, said Naruto affectionately, and another person stepped in the room. I brought her here as you asked, she seems to like you, said Haku calmly. There was no bitterness in her voice but there was no sympathy either. It was never easy to forgive a person who killed someone close to you, even if the battle was fair. Where were you, Ni-chan? I waited for you so long, said Rya with a small pout, and Naruto just ruffled her blonde hair gently. Well, I did have to make some arrangements for you. Haku-san and you are going somewhere else, there are other kids like you there. You'll get food, water. There is a lovely lady called Nono there who'll look after you and teach you, said Naruto cheerfully, and the happiness in the girl's eyes increased. Does he really care about her, or is there a motive behind this too? Thought Haku skeptically. She was still wary of trusting this man, but she did care about the little girl as she was innocent and had nothing to do with their world. You'll be coming with us, right? Asked Rya innocently, and Naruto looked at her lovingly. I have some work to do, but I'll promise we will meet each other very soon. Imuto, said Naruto firmly, and the girl brought her little pinky finger in front of him. Pinky promise? Asked Ray seriously. Huh? Asked a confused Naruto, what did that mean? And why was she holding her finger in front of him? Staying en route for so many years had deprived him of the understanding of how kids feel. He was never a kid and had to mature faster than anyone, and even if he shared a close bond with Konohamaru, he still didn't know how to behave with young girls like Rya. He was quite surprised when Haku came forward, and grasped his small finger firmly and entwined her with Rya's very own. It's a promise, said Haku lovingly, and Rya hugged both of them happily. Naruto hugged Rya back, and a small tear slipped from his eyes. He had not felt so much better in days. Was this how a man felt when he had a daughter? Ray. He didn't know what he was thinking, but looking at Rya made him remember the little girl in ANBU uniform. Was his dream a real truth? Did a girl called Ray really exist? I'll go pack a few more of my toys that Hakune-chan brought me, said Rya cheerfully, and quickly went to get her toys. You're not a criminal, are you? Asked Haku gently, and Naruto was a little surprised on hearing that. What makes you think that? I'm a killer, don't be delusional, said Naruto definitely, but the raven-haired girl saw through his mask. A killer, or a criminal won't save a girl like Ria. A criminal or a murderer won't have the same love in his eyes that a father has for his daughter. I can see who you really are, Naruto Hatake, said Haku with a small smirk, making Naruto leave a tired sigh. Just get the girl to the orphanage. I've already talked with Nono, both of you are welcome there. If you want, she is willing to offer you a place there, you can help the orphan kids there, because you know what it's like to be alone, said Naruto suggestively, and Haku thought about the offer. Maybe I can look after the kids there, this way I can spend some time alone, and can also look after Ria, thought Haku carefully. She just needed some time away from Wave Country, and staying with young kids and helping them was 1,000 times better than seeing criminals roaming freely in Wave. I'll get the girl to the orphanage safely, and maybe, said Haku hesitantly, and Naruto nodded as he understood what she was trying to say. He looked at the setting sun in the sky, and he used his sensor skills. He could feel the numerous missing ninja chakra in Wave, and he increased the radius and was now trying to feel any chakra signatures outside Wave. They must be here by now, thought Naruto seriously, and there they were. He could feel 60 signatures hiding in the small forest. He could feel a very familiar chakra signature, one which was a little similar to his own. Sasuke, Sakura, Enko, Kakashi, Ino, Shikamaru, Hinata, Shino, Kiba, Chuji. It seems everyone has arrived. He had not expected the Hokage to send so many genin considering their opponents were missing ninjas, but since most of Konoha's forces had been sent to the front, Hiruzen must have had no choice but to send them. His eyes widened in shock when he felt that chakra, standing away from the others. What the hell was she doing here? He could never forget this chakra, nor the person to whom it belonged to. There must be a specific reason she was here. He just hoped his crow had told her the truth. A part of his heart was forcing him to meet her immediately, but the rational part of his mind was telling him to control himself and not blow his cover in front of the other Konoha shinobi. Why did you spare me? I want to know the truth. Zabuza-sama is dead and no one will notice if you break the promise. Why? Asked Haku curiously. It's because you remind me of my older self, said Naruto truthfully. What do you mean? Asked Haku with a frown. How were both of them similar? You dedicated your entire life to Zabuza and in this you lost sight of yourself, and my path was a little similar. I couldn't even understand the person I loved the most, but I want to change that. After my battle with Zabuza, I was reminded of who I truly was, and I believe I can walk a different path than what I had thought before. I'll make my own ninja way, said Naruto confidently, and his hands clenched tightly. A small smile came on Haku's face and she stepped forward and was now standing beside Naruto, and looking at the calm ocean of Wave made her feel relaxed. You're right. It was pitch black, the sky was dark as there was no moon to enlighten it. The citizens of Wave were sleeping peacefully, unaware of the ninjas that were going to attack their country in a matter of a few minutes. Kurenai and her group of shinobi were stealthily approaching the docks of Wave Country. Genma and Sakura were flying high in the air waiting for the signal to attack. The docks approached near and she raised her hand and all of her soldiers stopped running and waited patiently. Eyes sharp, breaths fast, hands on their weapons ready to kill the enemy. The rookies watched closely as Kurenai pointed her finger forward. Hinata was quite surprised when Takumo Hyuga, a member of her clan, stepped forward and was now beside Kurenai. She saw him performing the hand seal and the next instant his Byakugan activated. It was known to all members of the Hyuga clan that Takuma had the best eyes in their entire clan, and the Hokage had assigned him to the strike team, but she believed it was her father who had put him on this mission so that he could protect her. Captain, the docks are clear. There are 10 guards outside the docks, but judging from the level of chakra, they are low Chunin level ninja, said Takuma accurately. What about the rooftops? From the reports we have, it was mentioned that there were many enemy ninja on the rooftops, asked Kurenai strictly, and Takuma diverted his eyes to the designated areas. Yes, there are many ninja up there. Most of them are awake and alert. Going in there now would blow our cover, said Takuma flatly. Kurenai gave the man a thankful nod and he went back with his squad. Kiba, what do you think will happen now? Asked a nervous Ino, her heartbeat increasing every minute. There were enemy ninja out there, and none of them had ever been in combat. We're going to kick their asses, said Kiba boastfully, and the next instant Hana gave him a hard bop on his head. Foolish little mutt, keep your mouth shut, said Hana irritatingly, and Kiba growled in return, fine fine. Said Kiba quickly when Hana put a kunai on his neck. Why was her brother so childish? They were on a real mission right now. Looking at the faces of the other genin made her sigh tiredly. Things were going to get real ugly. All of them were broken out of their thoughts when Kurenai started speaking on a small device. Genma, Sakura, both of you move forward. Your primary targets are the shinobi on the rooftops. Genma uses your shuriken jutsu, Sakura uses your arrows. Be as quiet as possible. I'll be following with the others as soon as you strike, ordered Kurenai firmly. Hi, Captain Kurenai, said Sakura and Genma in unison. As soon as the order was given, Kakashi immediately stepped forward and looked at Kurenai firmly. Kurenai, going in there blind is suicide. Even if Genma and Sakura take out a few, we would still be outnumbered. The enemy has the strategic advantage here, please reconsider, requested Kakashi urgently. I'm well aware of that is why I want all of you to wait here for 1 minute. I'll go ahead and perform a new technique that I have developed. It will put the enemy forces in disarray and then you charge with the rest of the force, said Kurenai smartly. I understand, but I think you should take a few men with you. You're the leader, and taking such risks, said Kakashi seriously, but was cut off when Kurenai glared at him. Kakashi, I know what I am doing. I've trained day and night for this, and you're forgetting that I am the best genjutsu specialist of Konoha. Stealth is my weapon, explained Kurenai briefly, and Kakashi nodded a bit reluctantly. Everyone saw the two birds on which Sakura and Genma were etching closer to their targets, and the next instant Kurenai performed a few hand seals and disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Everyone, stand fast, we'll be moving in 1 minute, ordered Kakashi quickly. Slowly all the ninjas armed themselves, and waited for the battle to begin. Kakashi saw the fearful looks on the genin's face, and memories of his first mission came flooding in his mind. These kids were young, and this was their first battle. He stepped forward and looked at Sasuke, Kiba, Ino, Shino and the rest of the rookies. All of you are very brave, you have trained for this day. I don't care what differences you had in the past with each other, but from here on out, you all are comrades. We are up against a tough enemy, and I want each of you to watch each other's backs. Is that clear? Asked Kakashi gently, and he received hesitant nods from the nervous genin. Kakashi-sensei, said Hinata and Choji nervously, and the veteran ninja put a gentle hand on both of their heads. Don't worry Hinata, Choji, I swear to all of you that I won't let any of you die. I won't leave you behind, and that's a promise, said Kakashi with an eye smile, and a small tear slipped from the eyes of the young genin. A small smile came on Enko's face as she saw Kakashi giving the young genin strength. This was the man she loved. Despite all his flaws, Kakashi was a good person. It's time, said Aoba seriously. Kurenai stealthily hid behind a small boat in the docks. Her murderous red eyes were fixed on the 10 lazy chunin that were guarding the entrance of the docks. Let's do this, said Kurenai confidently. She quickly performed a set of hand seals and molded her chakra swiftly. Megan, Jubaku Satsu, demonic illusion, tree binding death. The next moment the chunin guards were shocked and giant trees erupted beside them, and in a flash the branches of the trees entangled themselves around their entire bodies. The helpless missing ninjas tried to break out, they even tried to scream, but their mouths were blocked, and in a matter of 2 minutes all of them lay dead on the floor, their bodies cold as ice, but there was a terrified expression on their faces. Kurenai quickly stepped past those bodies. Her genjutsu was a success as her enemies had been killed without any sound. She was quite surprised when she saw 3 ninjas in the house nearby, and they were trying to see what had happened. But it was very dark, so they were having difficulties, which gave her the chance to quickly take out 3 shuriken, which she launched quickly at them. Thud thud thud. The weapons hit the ninjas right in the head, and they fell dead on the rooftop. It seems your training of shuriken jutsu was indeed helpful, thought Kurenai proudly, and jumped on the rooftop. She quickly had to hide herself as she spotted numerous ninjas on nearby rooftops and some even on the streets patrolling the entire area. She took a deep breath in order to stabilize her chakra. If this technique worked, then her soldiers could quickly curb and stomp the front lines of the enemy. Kurenai knew she had to say something to increase the morale of the young genin in her squad, but the fact was she was not Naruto. She wanted the young genin to become ninja in their own way. Instead of giving them false hopes, she wanted them to see their world with their own eyes. And after tonight, she was sure the rookies were going to change, for better or worse, she didn't know. She gathered a large amount of her chakra, and performed a set of hand seals quickly. She had developed a lot of genjutsu in order to prepare herself to face Naruto, and combined that with her increased physical strength and talent in taijutsu, she was sure he was in for a tough fight. And these ninjas were no match for a skilled ninja like her, who relied purely on stealth instead of flashy jutsu. Higai Musu no Jutsu, Paranoia Technique. She watched victoriously as her genjutsu started affecting the missing ninjas in the entire area. Some of them were swaying heavily, while others were behaving as if they had lost their minds. Kurenai, we are in position. Orders, asked Genma quickly, and a devious look came on her face. Kill them all. Kakashi saw many arrows and shuriken falling from the sky with the help of his Sharingan, and this was the signal he was waiting for. Let's go, said the veteran Sharingan warrior quickly, and the entire force divided into small groups which headed in different directions of Wave Country. The ninjas advanced quickly and entered Wave Country to destroy their enemies. On a high rooftop, a young boy observed the nearby surroundings with a calculative gaze. He could feel the numerous chakra signatures infiltrating Wave, and he knew the battle had begun right on time. His dark blue eyes were looking in the direction where he felt the chakra he was looking for, and it was approaching his position slowly. Stealthy as ever, you have not changed, Kurenai, thought Naruto with a small smirk. What are you going to do? Asked Kurama seriously. He would tell Naruto the truth after his meeting with Kurenai. It's time I stopped running and faced my past. But before that, said Naruto murderously as his eyes shifted to a nearby building where Gato was sleeping peacefully. With Squad 1, Anko's squad. Anko and her small group of ninjas were running straight through the western district with the objective of securing the area. She looked at her squad and was mostly satisfied. Sasuke was prepared, and she doubted anything was going to stop this boy. His experience in the past mission was helping him a lot. Behind the Uchiha was Izumo, and the young Chunin was fairly comfortable as he had been on such missions before, and the same could be said for the 4 Yugas in the rear. Even the shy Hinata seemed a little confident that before. Maybe it was due to the fact that her brother Niji was beside her. Take them out, said Anko quickly as she saw a group of 30 shinobi charging right at her. The next second Sasuke jumped high in the air, and Anko saw a shuriken in his hand, and she immediately realized what he was up to. Shadow Shuriken no Jutsu. The next instant numerous shuriken were fired straight at the approaching missing ninjas, but it seemed they were prepared for it as a few of them had already performed a set of hand seals. Doton Doryu Hiki, Earth Release, Mud Wall Jutsu. All the shuriken were effortlessly blocked by the large earth wall that rose in front of the missing ninjas. Everyone, fight carefully. These are not bandits or thugs, they are ninjas, warned Anko loudly. The next instant many enemy ninja jumped over their earthen wall and fired a lot of their kunai, shuriken straight at them. Niji. The young Hyuga stepped quickly in front of his squad, and the rest of his comrades watched in shock as he performed his jutsu. Hakusho Kaiten. Hinata and the rest of the Hyuga were quite astonished when the young branch member deflected each and every projectile aimed at his squad, by rotating quickly. Ni-san, you are so strong, thought Hinata in awe. Hinata, don't let your guard down, said Niji loudly as a ninja sunshine right beside her. Slash. Niji was quite surprised when he saw the missing ninja falling dead on the ground with a kunai lodged straight in his head, and it was fired by Sasuke. HN. This was the only reply he got from Sasuke before the young Uchiha charged forward along with the rest of the Hyuga. Despite his uncaring and cold nature, the Uchiha had protected his sister, and that shocked Niji. With Squad 2, Guy's Squad. Dynamiku and Tori, Dynamic Entry. A loud crashing noise was heard as Guy gave a devastating kick to a shinobi that sent him crashing on a nearby wall. Dynamiku and Tori, Dynamic Entry. Guy was quite surprised when the enemy beside him received the same devastating kick and was taken down instantly. His eyes beamed with pride when he saw his favorite student beside him. "Wosh. Well done, Lee, let's show them the power of youth," said Guy enthusiastically. Lee was wearing a green spandex and had the same hairstyle as his sensei. It was as if he was a mini Guy. The young genin gave Guy a vibrant smile in return. "Hi, sensei, let's show them the power of youth. I'll take out each and every one of them. If I'm not able to do that, then I'll run all around wave 5 times, said Lee cheerfully, and a few tears came in Jounin's eyes. Lee. Ji-sensei. Lee, Guy-sensei. Will you two shut up, screamed Tenten angrily, and she fired another round of her kunai at the enemies. The rest of their squad also started engaging the enemy forces. She was grateful that Sakura and Genma were already eliminating the ninjas on the rooftops and were making their way to Gato's headquarters. "Come on, Tenten, show your youth to your youthful opponents," said Lee cheerfully. Lame. This was the only thing that crossed Tenten's mind as she looked at her teammate and sensei's antics, even during battle. With Squad 3, Aoba's squad. Aoba blocked a swipe of his opponent's kunai, and kicked him hard in the face, while launching a kunai straight in the enemy's face that killed him instantly. There they are. He was quite shocked when a large number of shinobi started approaching his squad from all sides. "Troublesome, we need to fall back," said Shikamaru urgently as he blocked a kunai aimed at Chuji. "We need to get out of here, they'll kill us all," said a fearful Chuji as he dodged another punch from his opponent, and gave him a sharp kick in return. The Akimichi boy felt really horrible when he saw the number of dead bodies around him. Everywhere around him was blood, and the terrifying screams were making him shiver in fear. "Shikamaru, left side," yelled Ino loudly. The Nara boy ducked instantly as a hail of kunai passed just an inch above his head. If not for Ino's warning, he would have been dead. Gah. Fuck. Shikamaru and Ino's eyes widened in horror when they saw Chuji and Ikumi falling flat on the ground with numerous kunai impaled across their entire bodies. Chuji. The young genin rushed towards their fallen comrades quickly. Tears were already dropping from Ino's eyes as she saw blood flowing from Chuji's bodies. He was hit really bad, a kunai in the chest, one in the stomach, and a few on his hands and legs. Shikamaru was in a state of shock on seeing his best friend lying there on the floor. Time had just stopped for him. His mind was being flooded by all the time he spent with Choji, and now, "What's their status?" asked Aoba loudly, as he killed another with his kunai cutting across the enemy's throat. The next instant Kotetsu, who was fighting nearby, jumped towards the two fallen genin. He put his finger straight on the necks of Choji and Ikumo. "What's their status?" yelled Aoba angrily, as he did not receive any answer. "They're down." With Squad 4, Hana's squad. Hana blocked a punch from her opponent, and in a twist broke his entire arm, followed by a kick to his groin. The missing ninja dropped on his knees and screamed in pain, and she grabbed his neck and in a flash twisted it entirely, with the man's body falling on the ground. Her gaze softened a little when she saw how terrified Kiba was. Despite his loud and brash attitude, he was still a young kid. A kid who was struggling to survive. Hijitsu, Mashidama. Shino launched a group of bugs at the nearby enemies, which instantly started to drain their chakra. Hi. Get them off me. Kiba just froze in his place as he saw bodies upon bodies falling in front of him. blood was being spilled everywhere and he just didn't know what to do. Shino tapped Kiba lightly on his shoulder, and the shocked Inuzuka looked at his teammate with a terrified expression on his face. Kiba, get yourself together. We need to support the squad. Don't freak out now, said Shino hastily and went ahead to support Hana. Woof. Akamaru's bark brought him out of shock, and he looked at his partner, and the dog was giving him an encouraging look. Kiba saw how Hana and Shino were fighting. He also noticed the slight blood dripping from Hana's hands as she was injured. Something in him changed as he saw the injury on his sister's body. His blood boiled when he saw a group of ninja on the rooftops who were aiming to kill Hana and his squad. Akamaru, let's go. Woof. Inuzuka and his partner quickly jumped in the air, and the enemies on the roof were quite surprised when a small tornado approached them. Getsuga, Fong over Fong. Hana was shocked when the entire rooftop of the building in front of her was destroyed, but the shock on her face soon turned into a proud smile when she saw Kiba and Akamaru emerging from the debris, and her brother gave her a cocky smile. Moron, said Hana gently, and wiped a small tear that had come in her eye. Kiba. Hana's eyes widened in horror when she heard Shino's scream, and she was mortified when she saw an exploding tag glowing on Kiba's roof. Boom! With the aerial team, Sakura and Genma. Sakura fired another round of her exploding arrows and watched in satisfaction as they blew apart a squad of enemy ninja trying to attack Guy's squad. She fired another hail of her kunai and shuriken. It was just a diversionary tactic, and she was proved right again as the enemy started deflecting the projectiles and in doing so left themselves open for attacks. The next instant Squad 2 jumped on them and tore them to pieces. Sakura, I am going to support Squad 3, Aoba's squad. They are in deep shit. If things get worse, I'll get the squad out of there. You stay here and help Guy's squad in advancing, yelled Genma urgently. Hi, sensei. I'll keep them safe, said Sakura promisingly, and Genma gave the young girl a thumbs up. Good luck, kid, said Genma gently, and started moving with his bird to Aoba's location. Sakura gave the elite jounin a small nod before firing another one of her arrows straight across an enemy's head. She was quite surprised when a small group of enemy ninja were trying to approach Guy's squad from behind. I won't let you, said Sakura murderously, and prepared another bunch of arrows. Boom! Sakura's eyes widened in horror when she saw Genma's bird being struck by a lightning jutsu, and it started falling straight towards the ground. Captain Kurenai, Genma's down, said Sakura urgently on her device. No response. Captain, said Sakura quickly, but it seemed the device was not working at her height. She saw Genma crashing on the ground, and from the looks of it, many shinobi were heading towards his position. It all came down to her now. What choice was she supposed to make? She looked at Guy's squad who were quickly moving towards Gato's headquarters from the east side. If she covered Guy's squad, then Genma would die, and if she went to save Genma, Squad 2 would be left open for attacks. Fuck. With Kurenai. The young captain quickly sliced her sword across an enemy's throat as his blood spilled across her face, but she didn't stop as she caught an enemy's kunai with her bare hands and in one quick motion struck her sword right in his gut. She had already reached Gato's headquarters while wiping out every enemy that came in her way. It was her job to capture that scum, while Kakashi and Asuma rounded up the rest of the targets. The squads were advancing quickly. She knew some of her men would have died by now, but this was the harsh truth which they faced every day. But everything would be worth it when they got the scum called Gato. Die. She ducked quickly as two ninja tried to swipe her head with their swords, however they were both shocked when she grabbed their legs and flipped them high in the air. The next instant their heads rolled down on the floor, and she wiped the blood that was on her sword. Just a little longer, he should be up there, thought Kurenai seriously. Two ninjas appeared in front of her and performed a set of hand seals quickly, and she realized those hand seals quickly. Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu. A large fireball engulfed Kurenai in its fire and a victorious smile spread on her opponents' faces. "Got the bitch, Retsu," said one of the ninja with a smirk. "Oh." Both the ninjas' breath got caught in their throats when a cold metal was pointed at their necks from behind, and they were shocked further when they saw the Kurenai in front of them dispersing into petals. Genjutsu. This was their last thought before Kurenai sliced their necks as a pool of blood sprayed in the room. "Everyone underestimates Genjutsu, a pity," said Kurenai coldly. She started running across the stairs quickly. The top floor was close and she knew Gato would be there. Sakura and Genma had already cut off Gato's escape route, so the only safe place for that little shit would be this building. But something seemed strange. The building seemed empty. She had expected a few more of Gato's men trying to defend him. As soon as she stepped on the next floor, she was quite surprised when numerous bodies were lying in front of her. She bent a little and checked the blood on the floor. It was not thick. Usually after a certain hour of death, the blood freezes and becomes thick. So it only meant one thing. "They have been killed recently." "But who?" said Kurenai suspiciously. She knew no person on her team was here. They were all fighting somewhere else. Gato's headquarters was the toughest enemy stronghold and she had ordered them to support her while she cleared it out. But during her entire assault, she had faced only a handful of enemies, and her instincts were telling her that something was wrong. She looked around but nobody was there. There was no noise or even any movement, and this creeped her out. It was as if she was in a horror house, and was being closely watched. "I need to get moving," said Kurenai firmly, and started climbing the last stairs to reach Gato's office. She grasped her sword firmly as she saw Gato's office in front of her now, along with the two dead bodies lying near the door. She silently and carefully started walking towards the door. This was it. Her target would be right across this door. The question was Gato alive or dead? If alive, then why was he not running? And if not, then who killed him? So many questions were racing across her mind, and a small bead of sweat rolled across her face and she took a deep breath, as her hand reached the knob of the office's door. 3, 2, 1, now. In one quick motion she opened the door and brought her sword forward in order to block the attack that she was expecting, but she was proved wrong yet again. The entire room was dark, and she could not even see her own hands in such darkness. She took a step forward, eyes sharp, and her hands placed firmly on her sword, but nothing happened. She was quite surprised when her leg struck something, and when she looked down, she saw two bodies on the floor. She bent down a little and her guess was these were Gato's personal bodyguards. But where was Gato? She carefully got up, and went forward, and as she edged further she could hazily see a person tied to a small chair. She already had a wild guess but decided to confirm her suspicions. The young captain stepped forward and turned the chair, and her suspicions were proved right when she saw who the man was. It was Gato. She quickly checked his pulse and was revived on seeing that the little bastard was alive, but was knocked unconscious. This raised another question in her mind. "Who did all this?" asked Kurenai sharply. Her eyes widened in horror when a dark pair of red eyes activated in the right corner of the room, and when she looked closely a shiver ran across her entire body. Those eyes, thought a horrified Kurenai, as right now she was staring at a very familiar three-tomo Sharingan. The sound of light footsteps were heard in the room as the person slowly came forward, and her worst fears came true when she saw his face. "It's been a long time, Kurenai." In a dark room, two pairs of eyes glared at each other. Time had seemed to stop as the two ninja in their room looked at each other in the eyes. It seemed like an eternity as their eyes just glared at each other. Kurenai looked in the dark red pair of Sharingan eyes. In the past those eyes used to make her feel safe, but now the only thing they made her feel was anger. A lot of anger. Naruto looked into Kurenai's dark ruby eyes and words couldn't describe how happy he was on seeing her. Even if the room was dark he could see her clearly, but he also didn't miss the sea of anger in them, and irked him a little. "Uchiha Naruto, what are you doing here, traitor?" asked Kurenai venomously, and a part of his heart broke on hearing her say that. It was funny, he was probably one of the most loyal ninja of Konoha, and yet the entire world viewed him as a traitor. Even the person closest to him had the same opinion. "Hello, Kurenai," said Naruto gently, and his calm voice seemed to anger her even more as he saw her grip on her sword tightening. "I asked you a question, traitor," asked Kurenai murderously, and Naruto sensed her chakra rising to danger levels, which only meant one thing. "Can we please stop with the genjutsu, Kurenai?" asked Naruto tiredly as he felt a cold metal on his back, and a smirking Kurenai was standing right behind him. However, she was quite surprised when he disappeared in a flock of crows. "It seems he is still strong in genjutsu, there's no choice," thought Kurenai tactfully. "Naruto, stop hiding outside the window, I want to face you, not your stupid clone," said Kurenai angrily, and she heard a small "hn" from outside. "Tch," said the clone standing in front of her and disappeared in a puff of smoke as the real Naruto stood in the window. As the dim light in the sky fell on his body, she saw he was wearing a dark black cloak over his entire body and dark blue pants. Surprisingly, he did not have his face mask on and she could clearly see he was still good looking, but then her eyes shifted to the headband on his head. A crossed headband. "So, it was all true. Did you really do all this, Naruto? Did you kill 300 ANBU of our village and steal the forbidden scroll? Answer me," yelled Kurenai ferociously, and she heard a tired sigh escaping from his mouth. "Yes." Boom. Naruto's eyes widened in shock as Kurenai destroyed the entire window and the wall around it, with a single punch. "If I had not jumped, it would have turned really ugly, she's serious. I need to put an end to this quickly for both of us," thought Naruto seriously as he landed on the surface of the ocean. Gato's building was right beside the ocean so that he could escape from the sea in case of an attack. The young captain's eyes spotted a lot of ships burning in the near distance, and he realized Kurenai's soldiers must have destroyed the escape ships. And there was only one person who could do this much destruction. "Sakura," said Naruto with a small smile as he remembered his friend. He wondered how much had she changed. Splash. He heard a small splash behind him, and he didn't have to look behind to see who it was. Kurenai was right behind him, and he saw she was wearing her regular jounin uniform, but there was a large white haori on her back, and he spotted the words, "Captain," written on her back, and it brought a true smile on his face. But when she looked at him with her murderous ruby eyes, he realized she was not here to talk. "I'm going to drag you back to Konoha where you will be punished for your crimes," said Kurenai coldly, and now stood in front of him. "Kurenai. The time for talking is over," said Kurenai furiously. Clang. Metal clashed against metal as Kurenai's sword was blocked by Naruto's kunai, while her left hand was being held firmly by his left hand. "So, she brought me near a water source to fight with me on even grounds. My fire style against her water style," deduced Naruto tactfully, as he tightened his grip on her hand while she tried to push him further. "Naruto, you need to tell her quickly, this can turn really ugly," advised Kurama urgently. "I don't think she wants that," said Naruto sadly. The next instant Kurenai used her left leg to give him a sharp kick on the ribs, but he easily spotted her movement with his Sharingan and blocked it with his leg. "Hn." Naruto was alarmed when he saw the smirk on her face, and his fears were proved correct when he saw hundreds of Senbon coming towards him from the sky, and it was fired by one of her clones. "Shit, she formed a water clone without hand seals, she wants to take down both of us," thought Naruto quickly. He knew those Senbon would indeed have paralyzing poison on them. She was really serious about capturing him and was even willing to harm herself. "I'm not letting you go," said Kurenai seriously, and she tightened her grip on his hands to the point blood started leaking out of his skin. The Senbon edged closer, and what happened next shocked Kurenai to the core. Amaterasu. In a flash, the shape of Naruto's Sharingan changed into a shuriken, and when she looked up, she was quite alarmed when all her Senbon as well as her water clone were being burned in some mysterious black fire. She felt a harsh kick being delivered on her stomach that knocked her a few feet away, as her opponent back-flipped a few meters away. "What is going on?" thought Kurenai painfully, as she started healing the bruises on her stomach. "Listen to me, Kurenai, you are making a mistake," said Naruto painfully, as he felt his entire body being burned from the inside. Kurenai watched in surprise as blood leaked from his left eye like a river and he was panting harshly, but still his eyes were the same weird shape which she had seen a moment before. The raven-haired genjutsu mistress was quite shocked when Naruto dropped on one of his knees and coughed up a lot of blood. "What are you doing?" asked Kurenai warily. From her past with Naruto she knew genjutsu was his weapon and what she was seeing might just be an illusion. Naruto tried to look at her but his vision was blurry, because right now he was seeing 3 Kurenais in front of him and they too looked hazy to him. "Don't use your Mangekyo, your body can't take it anymore," said Kurama sternly, and Naruto tried to stand back up. Suetun, Hanryu, Water Release, Rapid Crasher. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise when he heard the sound of a tidal wave approaching his position. He could not see properly but performed a set of hand seals quickly. Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu. He used his sensor abilities and pointed to the right spot from which the tidal wave was coming and a large fireball was fired from his mouth, and he was proved right as both the jutsu clashed with a loud bang, and steam flowed everywhere. His bad luck mist started floating everywhere around him, and combining that with his blurry vision put him at a real disadvantage. "She copied my silent killing technique too, just how strong is she?" thought Naruto in wonder. He took out a small kunai to defend himself from any attacks. It all seemed like a déjà vu to him, being caught in one of his most prized techniques. Naruto knew Kurenai was a talented jounin, but it seemed she had trained like hell in these past months and had greatly developed her skills. A sharp noise was heard followed by another and another, and Naruto's eyes widened in shock when he felt numerous weapons cutting across his entire body, and the fact was they were laced with lightning chakra, which sent jolts of shock across his entire body. The next instant he suddenly lost his balance as someone dragged him below the water. "Fuck!" screamed Naruto in pain as a kunai was stabbed right in his chest. He kicked his attacker and jumped straight towards the surface, and he was quite surprised when he saw a smirking Kurenai in front of him. "It's over," said Kurenai victoriously, and her assumptions were proved correct when he dropped flat on the floor. "What did you do to me?" asked Naruto in a rough voice. He couldn't feel a damn thing in his body. "You are paralyzed right now. I'm not stupid enough to fight you head on, but you are holding back." "Why?" asked Kurenai flatly. "Because I don't want to harm you," said a voice behind her in a cold tone. Kurenai's eyes widened in horror when she saw Naruto standing behind her. He had already lost his cloak and as a result was bare-chested and she could clearly see the scars on his chest and his well-toned body, but one thing that shocked her to the core was the ANBU tattoo on his right bicep. She didn't know what was going on. Kurenai looked at the Naruto that was lying on the ground and it disappeared in the ocean, a Mizu Bunshin. "How?" asked Kurenai with a frown. Clones used to get destroyed on even a slight attack, and yet his clone stood up to so many attacks. "Look where we are standing, it's the sea. I can control my water clone and can send as much chakra as I want to him as through the water. It might be difficult for a normal shinobi, but for a sensor like me it is not that difficult. Due to constantly receiving chakra from me it could withstand all your attacks. You have grown stronger. To think you would push me to use the Mangekyo," said Naruto proudly, and this time Kurenai caught the word Mangekyo. She analyzed every moment of their fight and everything started to get clear for her. "When our water and fire jutsu clashed, you used those 5 seconds to replace yourself with a water clone, but you took off your cloak in order to completely hide yourself in the water, while I fought with your clone. The more I look at you, at your eyes, I don't know who you are. You are not the Chunin Naruto I knew, the one that was the leader of Team 7-inch," said Kurenai sharply, and Naruto gave her a praising look. "Accurate as always, no wonder you were made a captain of the team leading this mission," said Naruto calmly, and Kurenai pointed her sword at him. "Why do you have an ANBU tattoo?" asked Kurenai seriously, but she had a feeling the answer was already in her mind. "You're right, I'm Captain Naruto Uchiha, 11th Squad, root ANBU forces, said Naruto flatly, and this time the shock was evident on his lover's face. What did you say? Asked Kurenai very sternly. You heard what I said. I am a ANBU captain, acting on the orders of the third Hokage of Konoha, said Naruto truthfully. Naruto hazily saw Kurenai appearing before him and gave him a sharp punch that sent him stumbling a few feet back. However, he did not have time as she jumped high in the air and attempted to give him a deadly kick on the head. He quickly brought his hands up and blocked the kick, but he felt a lot of pain when the kick connected. Her taijutsu had gotten a lot stronger. She used his hands as a base and leaned down and in a flash gave him a solid punch that broke his nose with a sickening crunch. Damn it, when did she start hitting so hard? I just wish my eyes were a little better, thought Naruto frustratingly as he dodged her kicks and punches, which were a lot more stronger than he last remembered. You know, you kind of deserve her punch for putting her through so much pain, said Kurama casually, making Naruto sweat drop on his friend's antics. Thanks for the support, jackass, you're a great help in this situation, said Naruto sarcastically, and the Biju just gave him a snort. Naruto blocked a kick aimed for his chest and jumped right above Kurenai's head and in an instant gave her a slight thrust on her shoulder, making her stumble a few meters back. To Kurenai's shock, she felt her entire left shoulder getting numb. She couldn't feel anything there, and it just dropped. I have put your muscles through a shock, don't try to act hastily or your left shoulder would be permanently damaged, warned Naruto sternly. However, his explanation was cut short when the Kurenai in front of him dissolved into water and he felt a massive chakra behind him. Suetun, Mizurappa, water style, violent water wave. Naruto cursed his luck as the water wave was just 5 feet behind him. He didn't even have time to perform a ninjutsu. Amaterasu. The flames of his most powerful fire attack clashed with the water wave and quickly overpowered them. He felt a large part of his chakra vanishing by performing his Mangekyo attack, and he collapsed on one knee. 2 windmill shuriken emerged quickly from the smoke, and this time Naruto's danger senses kicked off as the shuriken passed right through his Amaterasu's flames and were heading straight for him. He mustered all his strength and jumped high in the air and the shurikens passed right below him, but in doing so he let his guard down for a second. Kurenai appeared right above him and gave him a devastating kick, but at the last second he dodged the kick aimed for his head, but in doing so, his left shoulder had to bear the attack and it sent him crashing in the water. Damn, when did she start hitting so hard? Thought Naruto painfully as he stabilized himself on the surface again. Again he coughed up a lot of blood as the virus started hurting him more and more. Words couldn't describe how much pain he was in, both physically and mentally. He saw Kurenai standing in front of him, and the only thing he saw in her eyes was disappointment. Why did it have to end like this? Why did you do this? Asked Kurenai sadly, and he slowly got up on his feet. I did all this to protect your dream, to protect all our friends, and the village your parents and my best friend gave their lives for, said Naruto truthfully, and Kurenai threw a kunai at him which he caught effortlessly. What kind of rubbish is this? Don't tell any more lies, said Kurenai defiantly. It's time I showed you the truth, the reality of who I am, and what I did, said Naruto darkly, and his right Sharingan looked Kurenai straight in the eye. With Squad 3, Aoba's squad. Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu. A large fireball burned down a group of Waves militia and the next second Kotetsu jumped over another group and started engaging them. Aoba dodged another punch and cut his enemy's head off with the help of his kunai. His squad was in deep shit, 4 of his soldiers were already down while 2 were in deep shock. His perimeter was getting breached slowly and it wouldn't be long before they were wiped out. Captain, enemies on the right, screamed Kotetsu frantically. Aoba's eyes widened in horror when he saw 2 of his Chunin fighting on the right getting overwhelmed by a bunch of missing ninjas. The young Jounin jumped straight towards Shikamaru. Nara, get your ass in line. Isho and Saito are gone, stop the enemy on the right, yelled Aoba angrily. Shikamaru looked at his commander, and one look in the young genin's eyes showed Aoba the boy was in shock, and the same could be said for Ino too. You are a genin of Konoha, behave like one. Fight! Shikamaru heard Aoba's orders, but his eyes were just fixed on Choji. He still couldn't believe his best friend was gone. Just a flash, thought Shikamaru sadly. Bastards, yelled Ino angrily and charged right at the enemies approaching from the right. Fuck, said Shikamaru in frustration and ran after his remaining teammate. He saw Ino jumping straight on a IWA missing ninja, and she started stabbing him again and again with her kunai. But the young Nara saw two other ninjas on Ino's side and he moved quickly. Kagemain no Jutsu, shadow imitation technique. All the missing ninja nearby were quite surprised when they couldn't move, and when they looked down they saw they were being held by some shadows. I'm gonna kill you. With Genma. Genma fired another one of his senbons which hit a samurai straight in his head. He fired another senbon and it hit another ninja in the neck and both of them fell flat on the ground. The young Konoha Jounin spit out a lot of blood, and his eyes shifted to the large hawk that was lying on top of him. To make things worse, there was some debris of a broken wall on top of the animal. He was stuck, and his legs and left arm were broken. Genma saw another group of ninja approaching his position and his hands picked up the two senbon in his left pocket. So this is it, huh? Well, I guess it wasn't too bad, said Genma with a small chuckle. He was a ninja and was prepared for a situation like this, but no amount of preparation can make you accept this fact. He fired his last two senbon, but both of them were easily deflected by the enemy. The next second they fired a couple of exploding kunai at his location and he closed his eyes accepting his fate. Doton Doryuhiki, Earth Release, Mud Wall Jutsu. A loud explosion occurred and dust flew everywhere, and Genma hazily saw a couple of arrows falling from the sky. The next instant a young pink-haired girl jumped in front of him and he realized who this was. Sakura, said Genma tiredly. The young genin fired another one of her arrows and it exploded in front of the enemy, killing a few of them. Genma-sensei, are you alright? Asked Sakura worriedly and came by beside him. Yeah, fucking great, my legs are busted. This bird and the debris on top of it are too heavy, and you'll probably need two other people to get me out. Get out of here, I told you to cover Guy's squad, said Genma harshly. Sakura, Kiba's hit. He's hit bad, we need a medic right now. Sakura heard Hana's voice on her device and she cursed her luck. Besides Kurenai, she was the only medical ninja in the force. Go save the boy, I'll hold these idiots as long as possible. You know it's the right choice, said Genma gently as silent tears fell from Sakura's eyes. No. Sakura. I won't leave a comrade behind, you hear that, said Sakura angrily, and the next second she started removing the debris on top of him. This is an order, get out of here, said Genma angrily as he heard voices from a nearby alley. But she didn't hear him and kept on trying as more and more tears slipped from her eyes as her efforts were proving futile. A small smile came on Genma's face as he saw the young girl trying to save him with all her heart. He grabbed her hands gently, and she looked at him angrily. Sakura, we are surrounded. Do not make this a personal fight, look at the situation rationally or you'll put yourself and your comrades at risk. In any case, all you kids are the future of the village, I leave the village to you, said Genma seriously. There they are, wipe them out. Both the Konoha shinobi saw their enemies near them, and Genma was quite surprised when Sakura made 5 earth clones. She pointed her finger at one of her clones, and looked her straight in the eyes. 2 of you will go and heal Kiba. 2 of you will support Guy's squad from the rooftops and the last one will get Aoba's squad out of wave. Is that clear? Asked Sakura sternly. Hi, yelled all the clones in unison and hopped on the bird. You idiot dash, said Genma angrily, but was stopped when she put a soft hand on his shoulder. Genma-sensei, I won't leave you behind even if it kills me. Why? Someone taught me to fight for my comrades and never abandon them, said Sakura with a small smile, and went ahead leaving a shocked Genma behind. With Squad 1, Anko's squad. Anko was carefully observing her surroundings, Her squad had cleared all the enemies in the Western District and had formed a perimeter in order to protect Asuma, who was currently wiping out enemies and capturing Gato's associates in the few buildings that were ahead. She had to admit her squad was quite skilled. Sasuke had wiped out every enemy that came in his way without any hesitation. He was more ferocious than before, while the Hyugas had all done a fantastic job in defending the squad against incoming attacks. Apart from Hinata and Ami, everyone did their jobs perfectly. However, she was quite worried about the other squads. Guy and his team had secured the northern side while her team had secured the western side, and so far they had not suffered any casualties. But Hana's squad was currently busy in the southern side of Wave, and last she heard they had lost a few men. Even Kiba was hit, and she knew Hana would be having a lot of trouble in handling the squad when her little brother was on death's door. Aoba's squad on the eastern side was on the verge of being wiped out. They had kicked the hornet's nest. There were a lot of enemy barracks in that area and they became alert the moment fighting started. Genma was down, so their plan of extracting Gato from the sky had failed. Sakura was MIA. Sasuke, Takuma, Shinji, shouted Anko roughly, and the three men appeared before her quickly. What's the status of the other squads? Is Sakura alright? Asked Sasuke quickly. Aoba's squad is in deep shit. Genma is down, so we don't have any air support. As for Sakura, she's MIA, missing in action, said Anko truthfully. I'm going, said Sasuke flatly and got up to leave, but Anko stopped him. We don't know where Sakura is. I know how you feel, but right now I need the three of you to reinforce Aoba's squad and assist them in falling back to the docks. Sasuke, you are a skilled fighter. Takuma can defend the squad perfectly with Shinji assisting him. Your Sharingan and their Byakugan will help Aoba in turning the tide, explained Anko briefly. But what about this sector? If you send us there, you will lose your strength, asked Takuma seriously. I know the risks, but if Aoba does not receive any help, the entire squad will be wiped out. The enemy is busy with Aoba's squad while Kurenai is clearing the main building. If Aoba's squad falls, then they'll head straight for her and Gato will escape. This is an order from your commanding officer. Get Aoba's squad to safety and keep on engaging the enemy forces until Kurenai gives us the green light, said Anko strictly. But said Shinji in protest. He had a bad feeling about this. Silence, hissed Anko angrily, and the young Hyuga shut his mouth. He was a mere chunin and disobeying a jounin during a mission would account for treason. Sasuke looked at Anko for a second. She was right, they could not lose an entire squad in this situation. It would destroy the entire morale of the strike team. She's right, let's go, said Sasuke flatly, and the other two Hyuga agreed, albeit a bit reluctantly. Anko watched worriedly as three of her best men went to save their comrades. She didn't know if her decision was absolutely correct and was ready to face the consequences, but she couldn't just leave Aoba's squad to die, when she had men on her hand. However, she missed the evil smile that came on Sasuke's face, and the changed shape of his eyes. With Squad 4, Hana's squad. Splash! Blood spilled all across the area as Hana's ninja dogs tore apart two of the enemy ninja. Her heartbeat was faster than ever as currently in her arms was her younger brother. Her clothes were stained with his blood and she could see a large portion of Kiba's stomach was split open. Taijin, enemies on the left. We have to cover Hana while she gets Kiba to the house on the corner. Throw smoke bombs, said Shino commandingly. The young genin on Shino's left threw a couple of smoke bombs, but the next instant a couple of kunai came straight towards Taijin. Shino watched sadly as another one of his comrades fell. He could hear the enemies coughing badly, but it wouldn't be long before they broke through. He could see some of the chunin were badly injured and were laid on the backs of Hana's three dogs. There was no choice. Kaien, said Shino loudly. A young genin with spiky black hair came running beside him. The look on the boy's face was enough to show Shino he was scared. Shino remembered the boy as one of the few civilian children who passed the academy. Kaien, you take Korra and the injured to a safe house which my bugs have found. It's 5 minutes from here, and there are no ninjas in that area. I'll cover you, said Shino calmly. Shino, let's get out of here. We can make a run for it, said Kyan hurriedly. They'll break through and with the injured we won't be able to move quickly. I'll stall them for some time, and join you at the safe house. My bugs will guide you there. Now go, said Shino sternly. Kyan looked at his classmate hesitantly. He knew Aburame was a level-headed person and was a far better fighter than him. If Shino said this was the right choice, then he would believe in him. Got it, but you better be right behind us, said Kyan strictly, and Aburame gave him a firm nod. Kyan was just about to fall back when Shino grabbed his shoulder firmly. Tell Hana, it will be fine, we'll make it out alive. All of us, said Shino promisingly, and Kyan wasn't sure but he saw a faint smile on Aburame's face. Kyan offered his hand to Shino, and the young Aburame was quite confused by this, but shook it regardless. You better be right behind us, Shino-senpai, said Kyan devotedly, and Aburame was quite shocked on hearing the word senpai. Hi. Let's go Korra, said Kyan loudly, and the frightened girl was more than ready to oblige the order. Shino watched patiently as his squad disappeared and his bugs alerted him. He saw the smoke vanishing and prepared himself. I guess we all have jobs to do. Hana was running quickly, beside her was her squad, or what was left of it. She had heard about Shino's decision to stay back, and words couldn't describe how proud she was of him. The Aburame's bugs could suck the enemy's chakra and it could buy the squad time to fall back. As for Shino, she saw a group of Shino's bugs lingering around an abandoned house around the corner. The Aburame had chosen the correct place as the house was the perfect hideout and could be used to treat the injured. Hang in there, everyone, said Hana encouragingly. Quite a lot of her men were injured and so far 5 of them had died in the line of duty, while 1 was MIA. She kicked open the door of the house, and looked at her men who were capable of fighting. Stand guard around the house. Kyan helps the injured into the house. Korra keeps watch on the perimeter along with Tatsu and Swearin. We have given Kakashi enough time to capture Gato's men, now our only priority is getting our comrades out of here. Understood, asked Hana seriously but in a gentle manner, and her comrades gave her a weak nod. Hana-sensei, Shino is still not here, he said he would be here, said Kyan worriedly as he didn't see Aburame anywhere. Hana gently put a hand on the young genin's shoulders, and looked him straight in the eyes. He'll be here, just wait. We won't leave him behind. Till then, we all have jobs to do, said Hana gently. Hi, said Kyan sadly, and Han quickly led an unconscious Kiba and Sakien into the house. Korra took a deep breath and got on the rooftop while her comrade stealthily hid in the shadows. Hana was right, they all had jobs to do. Hana gently laid her injured brother on a small table, a lone tear slipped from her eyes. She couldn't watch him like this. How could such a thing happen to her kid brother while she was around? It was all her fault. Hana-sensei, Sakien is bleeding badly. I need your help, said Kyan hurriedly. Kyan, I'm just a vet, but I'll try to heal the wounded as much as I can. I want you to stop Kiba's bleeding until Sakura gets here, said Hana seriously. Even if her brother was injured it was her duty to protect her injured men. Duty came before anything. Kyan moved towards Kiba and put his hand on the young Inuzuka's stomach. It was so hot, and a few of his flesh was badly burned. They needed a medic. They needed a medic. With Sasuke, the young Uchiha was silently running behind him. 2 comrades. Toka was in the front and scanning the entire area with his eyes, while Shinji was in the middle, with him in the rear. Sasuke, I see Aoba's squad 2 blocks ahead. But there are a lot of enemies around them, said Takuma honestly. How can you see from so far away? Even with your Byakugan, it would be too far I think, said Sasuke innocently. You fool, Takuma has the best eyes in the Hyuga clan, his eyes can see through the toughest barriers and look on for miles. He is the main branch's best shinobi, said Shinji boastfully. Oh? Asked Sasuke in shock. Shinji, don't boast in fro dash, said Takuma irritatingly but was cut off as a kunai pierced straight through his neck. What? Screamed Shinji in horror as the person who had stabbed Takuma was none other than Sasuke. Shut up, said Sasuke in an annoyed tone, and his Sharingan's shape changed and Shinji suddenly felt himself mesmerized in those eyes. That was easy, said Sasuke with an evil smile, as he effortlessly put Shinji under his genjutsu. He didn't know his Mangekyo was so powerful. Goo, H. Sasuke's gaze shifted to the struggling Takuma on the ground. He was trying hard to stop the bleeding from his neck, but it was futile. What? I told everyone before, there is no such thing as comrades. As for why I did this, you don't need to know. Amaterasu, said Sasuke darkly. The next moment, Takuma's lower half of the body started burning, but the man couldn't even scream, as his neck was bust open. Takuma watched in horror as Sasuke came forward and stabbed a kunai right in his skull. Sasuke then attached a few exploding tags on Shinji's body, and slowly started walking away. Boom! An evil smile came on the Uchiha's face, as blood rained down everywhere as Takuma and Shinji's bodies were blown to nothing. These are good eyes. With Squad 3, Aoba's squad. Sensei, I can't hold them anymore. They are breaking free, said Shikamaru urgently, as he tried to hold the incoming missing ninja. 7 of his injured comrades were lying flat on the ground, including Ino. She was hit straight in the chest and was bleeding to death in front of him. Aoba and Kotetsu were holding the enemy forces at bay from different sides, but they were tired, and it was only a matter of minutes before they were overrun. Hold them as long as possible, don't let them get through. Use your kunai to kill them, said Aoba urgently as he dodged another shuriken. I'm out of weapons, and these 30 ninjas are too strong for me, said Shikamaru tiredly. He was just a genin and his chakra reserves were low. He had killed a few of the enemies with Ino's help, until she was shot down too. Boom boom boom. The remaining members of Squad 3 were quite surprised when exploding tags rained down from the sky and started destroying their enemies. One after one the enemy ninja were getting butchered and Shikamaru didn't know why, but it made him feel good. A hawk landed right in the center and Sakura jumped off it. Come on, get the injured on it. We don't have much time, we must retreat to the docks, said Sakura hurriedly as she went to pick up Ino. She was quite worried as she saw her childhood friend being hurt, and gently lifted her up. Sakura, said Ino painfully, but was stopped when her friend put a finger on her lips. It'll be fine, I'm getting you out of here, said Sakura gently as a few tears came in her eyes. She was quite confused when Ino pointed a finger to her right. Sakura's eyes widened in horror when she saw Chuji's body lying flat on the ground and there was a pool of blood around him. No. This can't be happening, thought a horrified Sakura. Don't, leave him, said Ino tiredly and fell unconscious, leaving a shocked Sakura behind. Shikamaru ran towards Chuji. He just wanted to get his friend out of here, but he was quite surprised when Aoba jumped in front of him. What are you doing? Said Shikamaru angrily. Aoba, another squad of enemies. We need to leave now, said Kotetsu urgently as he loaded the last injured Konoha ninja on the hawk. There is no room anymore, we are leaving the dead here, said Aoba stoically, and the next instant he caught Shikamaru's hand as the young Nara tried to punch. You bastard, I won't leave Chuji here, said Shikamaru furiously. Slap. Shikamaru was shocked when Aoba gave him a harsh slap and painfully made him look at the hawk, and the injured on it. The hawk can't take any more weight than it already has. Even if it could take the weight of 7 dead bodies, it wouldn't be able to fly faster and the enemy will get us. This is my order, get on the bird Nara, shouted Aoba angrily. Shikamaru just freezed in shock as Aoba's words sank in, and his horrified eyes just froze at Chuji's dead body. Choji is my friend, said Shikamaru in a hollow voice. He just couldn't take it anymore. In the past many bodies have not made it back, these guys are not any special, said Aoba coldly and lifted a protesting Shikamaru. Are we really doing this? Are we, said a trembling Sakura, but Kotetsu grabbed her firmly and jumped on the bird. "There is no other choice," said Kotetsu sadly, as the bird started flying in the air. Shikamaru's eyes were just fixed on his friend's body. The reality of their world had hit them. His friend was gone, and he couldn't even get his body back to the village. The frustration, the pain, the sadness, the anger, all took a toll on him. With Squad 4, Hana's squad. Hana was quite alarmed when someone just kicked the door of the house, but she was quite relieved when she saw Sakura standing in the doorway. However, there were two of them. "Where is Kiba?" asked one of Sakura's clones instantly. "Who's the real Sakura?" asked Hana angrily. "She's busy defending another squad. As a result, she sent two of us here to heal the wounded." "Now where is Kiba? Do you want him to die?" asked Sakura angrily. However, before Hana could reply, Sakura spotted the young Inuzuka and ran towards him, while the other clone started healing the other injured shinobi. Hana was quite surprised by the girl's ability to keep calm under such situations. Most of the genin had freaked out, but then again Sasuke and Sakura had been a part of the famous Team 7 and had already seen combat once. "He has burns, but they are not very serious. But there are a few shrapnels in his stomach. What's your name?" Sakura quickly asked the boy in front of him. "My name is Kaien," said the boy hesitantly as he watched the girl putting her hand in Kiba's stomach. "Kaien, hold him steady. I'll have to remove the metal pieces from his stomach. It will be painful and he might try to struggle. Hold him steady," instructed Sakura seriously, and Kaien gave her a quick nod. He then grabbed the Inuzuka firmly. Sakura gave him a small nod, and pushed her hand deeper into Kiba's stomach. "Ah!" The young Inuzuka screamed in pain, and blood spilled all over Kaien and Sakura's faces, but Kaien held him tightly even as the young Inuzuka tried his best to break free. Clang clang clang. Hana watched painfully as Sakura removed the harmful metal objects from her brother's body. It was one of the most painful things she had ever seen, but it had to be done. "I have stopped the bleeding, and am healing his wounds. Hana-sensei, he has lost a lot of blood. If we don't get him out of here quickly he'll die," said Sakura honestly. "We'll stabilize the injured first." "Where's the bird?" asked Hana seriously as she healed the wounds of a young genin. "It is evacuating Aoba's squad. Gato's associates have been captured. The bird will come to get us soon," said Sakura truthfully and wiped the blood off her face, as Kiba's bleeding stopped. "That's good, keep on healing the others," said Hana flatly. Sakura looked at the older Inuzuka. One question had bothered her since she came here, and she decided to ask Hana about it. "Sensei, where's Shino?" But one look in Hana's eyes was all Sakura needed to know. "With Kurenai." The young captain stood on the ocean. Her eyes were fixed on the person before her. Tears were rolling down her eyes as she looked at the person in front of her. Naruto just looked at her calmly. He knew it must be very hard on her, but there was nothing he could do about it. He sensed Kakashi and Asuma's chakra signatures approaching their position, and realized his time with her was short. "Kurenai, I don't expect you to believe me, and I have put you through a lot of pain. I have no excuses. I claimed that I loved you, when I didn't even know the meaning of the word," said Naruto sadly. Kurenai averted his eyes from him, and Naruto knew this was his chance to say what he truly wanted to say. "I treated you like a child, always lied to you. I failed at everything, and I didn't listen to anyone and only relied on myself. I don't know if your actions are right or wrong, but you are not totally to be blamed for that," said Kurenai silently. She had made a lot of mistakes too. "Kurenai, every shinobi is used by this world. In your case, you wanted to do the right thing and protect your friends, but in doing so, you lost faith in us," said Kurenai truthfully, and Naruto accepted the fact as it was the truth. "I tried to control you with my Sharingan, without thinking about your feelings. I wanted to force you to kill me, and free me from my pain. What I did, what I became was also due to the choices I made, and it is my fault. I don't deserve your love, and from now on you can live your life free from any lies, free from me," said Naruto calmly. "I don't know if I can trust you anymore. I didn't even know the real you until now. I don't think I can love you like before, said Kurenai honestly and looked him straight in the eyes to make her message clear. She was quite surprised when Naruto gave her a nod, and slowly started walking towards. There's nothing more to say, I told you the truth and the mistakes that I made. If I hadn't lied to you, then I wouldn't have to stand before you like this. Oh, always lied to you, but now I want you to know this, said Naruto lovingly. He stepped in front of her, and kissed her forehead gently. She looked in his eyes and for the first time she saw a truthful look in them, and he had a small smile on his face. You don't have to forgive me, and no matter what happens I'll be there for you forever, said Naruto lovingly. Kurenai watched sadly as he slowly disappeared in a flock of crows, and silent tears fell from her eyes. Moron. Kurenai silently watched the vast sea in front of her, specifically the place at which a few moments ago the man she loved had stood. She didn't know what to do now. Did Naruto really tell the truth? Or was he lying even now? There was no one except the Hokage who could verify Naruto's story, but more than that was the question of what was her relationship with Naruto? Did she love him? Her thoughts that drifted back to the conversation she had with Naruto. Flashback, a few minutes ago. Kurenai glared at the man standing in front of her. She was angry at him. No, she was pissed. What kind of rubbish is this? Don't tell any more lies. You killed 300 ANBU to protect your friends, protect the village, asked Kurenai mockingly. A tired sigh escaped from Naruto's mouth as his hands raked through his silky blonde hair. This was to be expected. After the way Hiruzen had spread the lies, it would be hard for anyone to believe his true story. I'll tell you the truth, of what I am and what I did for Konoha. But only if you listen to me first, said Naruto seriously, and his Sharingan swirled wildly in order to show her he was serious about this. Kurenai looked at him for a few seconds. All this time she wanted to find the reason behind his actions, and now she was getting the chance. She didn't know if he would tell her the truth or not, but if she didn't listen to him now, she would regret it for the rest of her life. I'll hear what you say for old time's sake, said Kurenai sadly, and Naruto gave her a thankful nod. He pointed his finger at the ANBU tattoo on his body. Kurenai knew such tattoos were given to the ANBU by the Hokage himself when they joined the force. This was her first time seeing it, however she did know that the signs and the design of Naruto's tattoo was the same as mentioned in the history books of Konoha. My real name is Captain Naruto Uchiha, 11th Squad, Root ANBU Forces, stated Naruto patiently, and Kurenai got a little curious. He had said this moments ago. What is Root? I've never heard of it. I doubt Konoha ever had such ANBU forces, said Kurenai sharply, and Naruto knew majority of the shinobi never knew of Root, and if not for the involvement of Konoha's ANBU force in framing him as a traitor by providing fake evidence to the general shinobi, this mission would not have been possible. It was a secret force started after the Second Great Ninja War by Danzo Shimura. He was one of the 3 elders that advised the Hokage before being dismissed a few years back, said Naruto patiently as he wanted her to understand each and everything in detail. Kurenai didn't know much about Danzo. Hell, she had never even seen him. But a man called Danzo did exist, and what Naruto was saying did match with the records that Konoha had. So this Danzo was the leader of this Root ANBU. I don't understand how he can run his own ANBU force. ANBU are under the direct control of the Hokage and only work for him, said Kurenai suspiciously. This organization was started after getting permission from the Hokage, and both the forces had worked together in the Third Great Ninja War. However, it was disbanded after the war, said Naruto briefly, and this confused Kurenai a little. Why would such an efficient force be disbanded? It would severely affect Konoha's forces. Naruto understood what she was thinking, and decided to make it clear what Root really was. Root started getting involved in various illegal activities and sometimes even performed missions not approved by the Hokage in secret, and when the Hokage found out the truth he disbanded it and stripped Danzo of all his powers from the force. But that was not the main reason Root was disbanded, said Naruto sharply, and Kurenai's tactical mind was slowly understanding each and everything. They must have done something inhuman even for ANBU, said Kurenai suggestively, and Naruto nodded hesitantly. In ANBU forces you are personally selected by the Hokage after taking into consideration your skills, years of service, your ideologies, and many other factors. And even after that they have to go through extensive training in which only 10% of the cadets survive. Root also followed the same procedure except for the final test, said Naruto regretfully as memories of that night came back in his mind. Kurenai saw the broken look on his face and she didn't know why it hurt her. She wanted to just go there and hug him, but the rational part of her mind was telling her to hear the entire truth before making any hasty decisions. How was the final test of Root different? Asked Kurenai skeptically. She had a feeling it was not something good. The way he had described Root, it sounded like a hardcore organization. You have to kill your best friend. For the first time in her life Kurenai found her legs shaking. The mere thought of killing Anko made her shiver in fear. Her eyes widened in shock and anger, but when she looked at Naruto, a more horrible conclusion came in her mind, one which shook her to the core. She shakily lifted her finger at him, even her voice trembled. Did you dash? Said Kurenai in shock but was cut off when she saw the tears dropping from his eyes, and her worst fear came true. Yes, I killed my best friend. His name was Shin, said Naruto truthfully. And Kurenai's shock further increased when she remembered something. You told me Shin died while protecting you from the villagers. You lied to me, said Kurenai angrily, and this time Naruto got irritated. What was I supposed to say? That I am a Root ANBU captain? I killed my best friend and have been assigned the task of stopping Rout's coup, said Naruto furiously. He was guilty but there were some things he had been forbidden from speaking at that time, even if he wanted to tell her. It was just not possible at that time. A coup? Asked a further shocked Kurenai. With each passing moment she was disgusted with the things Konoha had done. She could never believe that her just village would allow such a brutal practice. Even ANBU were human in the end. Do you remember the day when you started training me in Genjutsu? Asked Naruto patiently. He knew all of this would be too much for her, as a result he was trying to take it slowly. Hi, said Kurenai hesitantly. She didn't know how all of these things were connected but the way he was saying them had slowly started making sense to her. That was the day I first met Danzo and joined Root. That day I found the truth of my parents, the day I realized how dangerous Danzo was, and the day I became a spy in Root forces for Hiruzen-sama, explained Naruto briefly, and he saw Kurenai's eyes soften a little, the anger in her eyes reduced as she realized why he joined Root. You joined Root to keep the Hokage informed about Danzo and possibly help him in stopping Root from doing something drastic, said Kurenai gently. The more she heard the truth the more her heart understood the young shinobi in front of her. Hi, Danzo was illegally operating Root, and I couldn't just tell the Hokage immediately. Danzo had deep contacts in the village and would probably go into hiding if caught. I had to act rationally or a full-blown war would start in the Hidden Leaf village, a war that would consume many innocent lives including my friends. So I started training in Root and investigated everything I could about Danzo and his forces, his plans. I made some friends too, but as time passed they were reduced to nothing more than mindless drones who followed Danzo blindly, mere killing machines, said Naruto bitterly and clenched his hands tightly. If he could go back in time he would have stopped such a thing. Naruto, said Kurenai sadly. He bore such an enormous burden on him for all these years, and even after that he helped her, Anko, Kakashi as much as he could as a friend, as a brother, as a lover. However, Danzo knew more about the Sharingan than I thought. In order to test my loyalty and my ability to kill my emotions, he set me up in a death match against my best friend, and the only choice was to kill him or get killed. My objections went unheard and I prepared myself for death, but Shin knew how dangerous Danzo was, and he was suffering from an incurable disease, so he sacrificed himself for me and entrusted me with the task of protecting Konoha from Danzo's madness, said Naruto with deep regret. A lone tear slipped from Kurenai's eye. She had been so wrong. To think he had to watch his best friend die for him would have been an unbearable memory. He looked her straight in the eye and she saw the shuriken-shaped Sharingan staring at her sadly. This is the Mangekyo Sharingan that awakened that night when Shin died. Those flames you saw just now are a power of these eyes. The Mangekyo Sharingan is the ultimate stage of a Sharingan, and can only be achieved by killing the person very dear to you or when you go through an unbelievable trauma. After the Kyuubi attack, Danzo had spied on the Uchiha clan and had obtained this fact, and made me kill my best friend in order to awaken these eyes, explained Naruto in thorough detail. The links slowly started connecting in her mind, and with each second her hatred for Danzo started increasing. Were these eyes so necessary for him, to even make you kill Shin? Asked Kurenai sympathetically. These eyes are capable of even controlling the tailed beasts. Do you understand the meaning of this? Asked Naruto seriously. And Kurenai was amazed by hearing this. Were these eyes so powerful to even control a Biju? Kurenai's hands tightened to the point blood started dropping. Danzo made young kids kill each other just for the sake of power. Naruto saw the impact this revelation had on her and decided to explain the rest of the truth quickly as Kakashi and Asuma were edging closer and closer. I became a root captain after a few months, and that was when I realized Danzo's true intentions were to organize a coup to overthrow the third and establish himself as Hokage. He had increased his forces by recruiting young orphan kids illegally, and with our help wanted to rule Konoha as the ruler. And that was the day I made a choice that led to this, said Naruto seriously, and now Kurenai was really wary of hearing the answer because deep down in her heart a horrible feeling had started to develop. What did you do? Asked Kurenai hesitantly. I informed the Hokage about this and requested to wipe out the entire root ANBU along with Danzo Shimura by my own hands. If Kurenai had been shocked before, now she was mortified. He had already bore so much pain for a village that didn't respect him, except for a few selected people in Konoha. No one gave a damn about his existence, and yet you did all of this for the village that didn't respect you. You went as far as wiping out root. Why? Asked Kurenai pleadingly. Naruto was truly a mysterious person, and she doubted she would have understood the implications had he told her about his decision at that time. She was quite surprised when he gave her a firm gaze. Just how strong was his will? The village suffered a lot in the Kyuubi attack. People lost their friends, parents, loved ones, children. Even if you lost your father, what the villagers did to me was not right and there can be no excuse for that. But ultimately it all comes down to you, the path which you want to choose. I could have got my revenge on the villagers by following Danzo, but there were people who loved me and cared for me despite me being a Jinchuriki. Kakashi, Anko, Hiruzen, Imiko, my friends, and you, said Naruto with a bright smile on his face which brought a few tears in her eyes. Why did you sacrifice yourself for Konoha? Why did you do so much for us? Said Kurenai painfully, and he gave her a small smile which surprised her. To forsake your nation and your village is the same as abandoning your child. Many countries have been destroyed in the past, as well as the harsh life that awaits people without a country. And no matter what darkness lies in the village, I will forever be Konoha's Naruto Uchiha, said Naruto proudly, and the raven-haired beauty was astonished by his will towards his village and the ones he loved. All this time, I could never understand you, or even help you. You were perfect, said Kurenai shamefully, but was stopped when Naruto raised his hand. Kurenai, never say I was perfect. I accepted the mission, but I was suffering. The guilt of killing my friends, my comrades, my teachers was hounding my soul. I always lied to you and never told you the truth. I toyed with your feelings despite knowing the path that awaited me, just for my selfish feelings. I stopped listening to anyone, and only cared about my pain. I wanted to escape, and in doing so, I made the biggest mistake of my life, admitted Naruto honestly. What do you mean? Asked Kurenai suspiciously. I placed you under my strongest genjutsu and ordered you to kill me, said Naruto with deep regret. He immediately had to avert his eyes from her. The mere thought of looking her in the eye scared him. What did you say? Asked Kurenai murderously, and her chakra flared dangerously, and Naruto could feel the anger clearly radiating from her. He somehow gathered a little courage in order to say the entire truth, no matter what the outcome may be. It's the truth, The night we had sex I used my Sharingan on you and used the ultimate genjutsu and placed a order in your mind to become stronger, in order to kill me, said Naruto shamefully. The next instant he was sent sailing in the air by a monstrous punch and he felt a severe pain. He somehow regained his balance and landed on the water surface again as blood leaked out of his mouth. But his eyes were staring at the sea of anger in Kurenai's eyes, and he knew she had a right to be pissed. What he had done was very cruel, and it clearly showed how little he cared about her feelings despite claiming to love her the most. Meanwhile, Kurenai now understood why she was having the strong desire to kill Naruto a few weeks ago. This man had forced her to kill him? Was she just a toy to be used and thrown whenever he liked? You bastard, how can you do this to me? I gave you everything I had, my body, my soul, my love, and you played with my feelings. Do you have any idea what you did to me? All those days I was forced to think of ways to kill you day and night. No matter how much I wanted to stop those thoughts, they never went away until a few days back. Why? Asked Kurenai furiously, as some of Naruto's blood dripped from her knuckles. I made a mistake which I deeply regret now. I released the genjutsu a few days back when I realized how selfish and self-centered I had become. After I wiped out Root, I left the village without even caring about the effects of what my actions would do to. I'm worse than scum, said Naruto distastefully. Kurenai didn't know what to do. Did he even realize what he had done? For a person who was so mature and sacrificed so much, how could he even think about doing such a thing? So, it's all about you, huh? Your pain, your suffering, you suffered and sacrificed a lot for us, but how can you do such a thing to me, Naruto? I fucking loved you, damn it, said Kurenai frustratingly. For his part, Naruto didn't utter a word and was listening to her calmly. He had to make up for his mistake no matter what. If your story is true, and what you did was for the village, I can forgive you lying to me. I can even forgive you for not telling me anything but to order me to kill you just because you couldn't take it anymore. After caring so much about me, after going so far to protect me, you had no right to do this to me, said Kurenai vehemently. I'm sorry for causing you so much pain, said Naruto honestly. Argh, yelled Kurenai in frustration. Say something good to her, advised Kurama calmly, and this confused Naruto a little. What do you mean? Asked Naruto cluelessly. Moron, do I look like a matchmaker to you? Use your stupid brain for once, said Kurama irritatingly, and a light blush came on an embarrassed Naruto's face. He looked at the frustrated and grieving Kurenai in front of him and realized it was his duty to ease her pain. He didn't know if this would work, but it was worth a shot. Kurenai, I know I screwed up and I can understand if you are angry at me and wouldn't want to see my face ever, but you were the best thing that happened to me. You became my friend, my teacher, my guide, my lover, said Naruto emotionally, and Kurenai looked at him with a painful look in her eyes as she remembered the happy memories of the past. You were there for me every time. You made me strong, you taught me self-respect and dignity, you taught me genjutsu. You gave me so much without expecting anything in return, and words cannot describe how grateful I am to you. I am an idiot, and to be honest, I was really naive when I said I loved you. Hell, I'm still naive, but I really care about you, said Naruto hesitantly. Her gaze softened a little when she heard him say that, and for the first time she could not feel any deception in his words. I even wanted to marry you, and maybe have a small family someday, said Naruto sadly. He knew such a thing was nearly impossible after what he did. Meanwhile, Kurenai was stunned after hearing that, even though he had the same dream of having a happy family with her in the future. She wondered if the circumstances had been the opposite and she was in his place, what would she do? But I know I caused you a lot of pain, and I'm truly sorry for that. If I survive this mission, then I promise you I'll make it up to you. I'll do whatever you say, said Naruto promisingly, and Kurenai looked at him with a tired look on her face. Even after knowing, we may never be together? That I may never love you again? Asked Kurenai flatly. She knew now he was caught and his answer would show her his true feelings. But deep down she knew no man would ever waste his time after a female if she just ignores him or outright dislikes him. I promise. Those words shocked her to the core, and she looked at him and found a warm and gentle smile on his face. His eyes showed her he did mean it. "Why?" asked Kurenai aggressively. Why was he so thoughtful about her? "I'd rather have you in my life as a friend than not having you at all," said Naruto honestly, and he was relieved when he saw the anger on her face disappearing slowly. "How can I trust you?" asked Kurenai doubtfully. "I just need a chance. One chance is all I need. Can you do that for me?" Flashback end. A tired sigh escaped from her lips. She was in a huge dilemma right now. He had told her it was him who had given the information about Wave's defenses and he had a few more objectives to complete. She had tried to ask him about the mission, but had only gotten this response. "It's better if you don't know for now, it's very dangerous. But if you want to know the truth about my defection, then ask the Hokage." She clearly remembered his words. A million thoughts were going through her mind. Would it be right to trust him again? "Guess my only answer is asking the Hokage, Naruto. I don't know if I can give you a chance or not, at least not until I talk with the Hokage," thought Kurenai tiredly. This night had been very shocking for her. And she knew she had a lot of things to think about and make critical decisions about her life, but first she had to fulfill her mission. And that meant getting her men out of Wave. Two people quickly landed beside her, and from the looks on their faces and the condition of their clothes it clearly showed they had been through hell. Kakashi and Asuma panted harshly. Things had gone way south for their strike team. "Did you get the targets?" asked Kurenai quickly. There was no time to think about her personal issues now. "Hi, Kurenai, we have kicked the hornet's nest here. Aoba's squad took substantial casualties and had to fall back. Their entire Wave militia is headed this way," said Asuma urgently, and Kurenai was a little worried about Aoba's squad. "I have already informed Enko's squad to fall back to the docks, and assist Hana and her squad who have been holed up. They have got many injuries in their squad, including Hana's younger brother Kiba. His condition is critical," said Kakashi seriously, and Kurenai nodded quickly. "Do we have any MIA, missing in action?" asked Kurenai urgently, and she saw the distress clearly in both of her comrades' eyes. "Captain, Sasuke Uchiha, Takuma Hyuga, Shinji Hyuga, Shino Aburame, Genma Shinroi and Sakura Haruno are missing in action. We have lost all contact with them," said Kakashi flatly, and Kurenai was shocked to hear Sasuke and Sakura were missing. Those two kids were really close to her. There was no way in hell she would leave even one of them here, no matter what condition they may be in. "Asuma, you link up with Guy's squad and evacuate and collect the bodies of all our fallen comrades. Here are the extra scrolls I brought for sealing the bodies," said Kurenai quickly and handed the scrolls to the veteran Sarutobi. "You thought about this?" asked a shocked Kakashi. "Kakashi, link up with Enko's squad and help them in getting Hana's squad out of this shithole. Keep an eye out for Shino Aburame, he must be in that area," said Kurenai firmly. "Hi, but what about you?" asked Asuma hesitantly. "I'll get Sasuke, Sakura and Genma out of here. If I find the others I'll help them too. My clone has already sealed Gato, so our mission is finished. We've all got jobs to do." "Any questions?" asked Kurenai seriously. Neither of them said anything, and the young captain looked her subordinate straight in the eye to make her order clear. "Dead or alive, no one gets left behind." "This is an order," said Kurenai authoritatively, and both the men nodded. In the blink of an eye both the men vanished to rescue their cornered comrades, while Kurenai went in the other direction to get her former two teammates out of this place. In the bloodied streets of Wave, one lone kunoichi blocked another hail of kunai aimed at her. She was badly wounded and had already lost a lot of blood. Her vision was getting hazy with each passing second, and at this rate she would die in less than 2 minutes. She looked at the form of his comrade who was trapped. Not yet, not yet. She was a kunoichi of the Leaf, and as a medic it was her duty to protect her comrade. Sakura weakly fired one of her last arrows, which hit a samurai straight in the neck as the man collapsed on the ground. "Gah!" She screamed in pain as another hail of kunai hit her in the legs and she collapsed on the ground. The enemy was enjoying killing them slowly. "Shit, I'm out of chakra. I've only got one exploding arrow left," this is it, thought Sakura sadly. She knew what the enemy would do if they captured them. She would be raped over and over until the enemy got tired and would be killed then, while Genma would be given a painful death. Looking at the exploding arrow in her hand left her only one choice. "I'm sorry, Genma-sensei," said the girl defeatedly. She edged closer to her injured comrade and sat beside him. She looked at the dark sky. Never in her wildest dreams had she imagined herself dying like this. But she knew she had fought with everything she had, and now it was time for her to die with honor. Her hands shakily went to light up the exploding arrow as silent tears fell from her eyes. She missed her parents, she missed her comrades. She would really miss Naruto, Sasuke, Anko, Kurenai, but the mere thought of her friends brought a smile to her face. "This world is merciless," said Sakura to herself. She remembered how brutally her comrades had died today, how cruel humans were. She had seen what being a ninja truly meant. "But it's beautiful too," said Sakura with a small smile as she remembered all the good times she had with Naruto and Sasuke, their jokes, their smiles. Her eyes widened in shock when an exploding tag landed right beside her, and her instincts kicked in. She quickly picked it up and threw it away, but she was quite tense when she found herself surrounded by the enemy from all sides. She didn't know why, but looking at the evil smiles on the faces of the men made her more angry, and her desire to kill increased. "Get the bitch, we'll have some fun with her," said one of the Kiri missing ninja gleefully. One of the men quickly came forward and grabbed her roughly by her hair and lifted her high in the air. "Not bad, Katsuragi, a little underdeveloped, but still I prefer the younger ones, they scream so much," said the man lecherously, while the other ninja laughed a little on hearing that. Her blood boiled, and in one quick motion she punched her fingers straight in the man's eyes, as blood erupted like a fountain. "No!" yelled the man in pain as his eyes were destroyed, and he fell flat on the ground. "Why am I still fighting? Why am I still struggling?" thought a shocked Sakura as the enemy ninja charged at her. She prepared to defend herself with whatever strength she had left, but she was quite surprised when the enemy ninja grabbed their kunai and in a flash sliced their own throats. Two people landed right in front of her, and her eyes widened in shock and relief when she saw the Uchiha symbol on one of the person's backs, while the kanji, captain, clearly written on the tall woman's haori. "That was easy," said Sasuke with a frown clearly etched on his face. "Kurenai easily put the enemy in her genjutsu and made them commit suicide." He had to admit this woman was a little dangerous. Kurenai turned around and looked at her student proudly. To think she held the enemy for so long was really quite an achievement. "I'll have to nominate Shino and you for a medal, and possibly even a promotion for displaying such brave actions. I really hope Kakashi can get the boy back alive," thought Kurenai worriedly. "Sasuke, get Gemma out of this debris." "I'll take Sakura with me, we need to move now," commanded Kurenai, and she was not sure, but she heard a light tch from the Uchiha when he looked at Genma. "Kurenai-sensei." Sakura's tearful voice snapped Kurenai out of her daze, and she bent down and healed some of her wounds. "You did great today, you saved Genma's life. To risk your life for an injured comrade is a very noble thing. Now let's go back home. I'm sure your parents will be happy to see you back home," said Kurenai with a motherly smile, and gently wiped the few tears that fell from Sakura's eyes. "I couldn't save Chuji," said Sakura regretfully, and Kurenai got a little sad when she heard about the young boy's death. "Tch. Who lives or who dies is not up to us. That fatso must have been slow and the enemy got him. I've had enough of this," said Sasuke irritatingly as he placed an injured Genma on his back. "Sasuke doesn't say such things in front of her," scolded Kurenai angrily. "Hn." The young Uchiha just gave a disappointed snort and started running away without another word with Genma on his back. "He has changed," said Kurenai disappointingly. Just what was the Uchiha up to? He had told her that the two Hyuga with him were ambushed by the enemy and had been killed. He had to destroy Takuma's body as he didn't have the cursed seal due to being a main branch member. while Shinji's body was badly mutilated in a blast. Kurenai was a little suspicious about his explanation, but she knew the boy may be harsh, but he was definitely not a traitor. Or was he? "Let's get out of here," said Kurenai tiredly as she gently lifted up the injured Sakura on her back. Cough cough cough. The sound of violent coughing could be heard in the vast forest outside of Wave Country as a young blonde boy weakly walked through the forest in the dark night. Blood was leaking like a river from his mouth and his entire body was on fire. His vision was so hazy that he could barely see a few feet ahead of him. All in all, he was in a very bad condition. Naruto put his hand on his mouth again as another violent pain emerged in his chest and blood leaked out of his mouth. He collapsed weakly on the ground and started panting heavily. "Why am I feeling so tired?" asked Naruto painfully. "Your body has entered the second last stage of the virus. As a result, it has slowed down all your senses as well as reducing your speed and ability to fight with your full power. The fact that you had to use the Mangekyo twice against Kurenai is proof of how weak your body has become after your battle with Zabuza and Raiga," explained Kurama sternly. He really wanted to make his point clear this time. I said Naruto tiredly, but he couldn't speak as his coughing started again. "Naruto, at this rate you will die in a few days. Fighting against 2S rank ninja is one thing, and it is worse in your condition. You can't expect to come out without a scratch. You have neglected your medical condition far too long. As soon as you reach the orphanage, inform the Hokage about everything that has happened till now and get medical help," ordered Kurama strictly, and Naruto chuckled a little. "Since, when did, you start ordering me?" asked Naruto jokingly, and he heard Biju giving a snort. "Since the day you started disregarding your own safety. If you die, I remember, it'll take a few years for me to be reborn again and all the same shit will happen again. I'd rather stay with you than some other stupid Jinchuriki," said Kurama flatly, but his voice did have a pleading tone in it. Hi, no need to get so emotional, stupid fox," teased Naruto with a small smirk on his face. "Shut up," said Kurama irritatingly. "Thanks for the advice back there, things wouldn't have gone so well without your help. I finally feel free from my guilt," said Naruto happily, and a large smile came on his face when he remembered Kurenai saying that she understood him, and that was all that mattered to him. He was not going to give up. No matter what happened, he would get her back. "It seems things are changing," thought Kurama silently. However, the Biju knew he would soon have to make a critical choice. One which would determine Naruto's future. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time. Later.